I was like, okay, awesome, 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 awesome. Um, I was like, okay, awesome, 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 awesome. Um, I was like, okay, awesome, 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 awesome. I was gonna let me do it. I'll bring one back. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. All right. Hopefully, we don't have any more malfunctions. Had some malfunctions kind of going on there. Um, this is a 100 hours. I'm almost at 25 hours. I've got what 22 and a half hours now in. So I'm almost getting up to 25 hours. That'd be a quarter of the way through. And it's not even April. Now this, I'm trying to remember. I think somebody sent this to me, but I believe they're supposed to be talking a little bit about Autism Speaks. So this is 100 hours live of reasons you should not support Autism Speaks.
4 years since I got my autism diagnosis, 6 years than others. The question of whether or not one should even disclose their autism saving, or at least life changing. Social spaces can be anywhere from is an autistic thing, and let's face it,
I'm trying to
is
see.
either
Oh, I wish I knew when she was
corporate.
talking about Autism Speaks.
It's almost half of the videos delivering information about autism, which are
So what? When you have a margin,
That's a bummer.
absolutely life-changing discoveries that have directly saved me so much pain, anguish, and money. I know so much more about.
Hi.
Bounced from one doctor to the next. Did they even send my
It's Yosemite.
This really isn't telling me where they were talking about Autism Speaks. I'm kind of bummed out on that one. Um, I did do something today. Let's see, Autism Speaks, and I'm just gonna put in the word news and see what happens, and we'll start going from there. Um, okay, so this is from Autistic Self Advocacy. This is just coming straight from Google. This is Autism Self Advocacy Network. For you donate to Autism Seek. See, you guys at this ASAN got to get away from these white pages. They hurt. I've been complaining about those for a couple of days now. But I have been on your site for a couple of days too, so that's good too. Because these are good folks from everything I understand. Okay, let's see what's on the website. I know William. Whoa, that was a Colorado earthquake. This camera's like right in my face almost, and it's in fact my mouse is like way behind the camera as I'm trying to do this stuff. I'm not used to being boxed in like this. Okay, anyway, William Shatner does not like the Autistic Self Advocacy Network, to say the least. And that's an endorsement. Okay, very little money donated to Autism Speaks goes towards helping autistic people and families. Less than 1/3 of 1% of Autism Speaks budget goes towards the family service grants that are the organization's means of funding services. Now, I call her I call her Token. Okay, okay. Come on. Okay, this is Token. This is Eileen Lamb. Now she is like the marketing or media something. She's in the executive staff, we'll say, or the higher executive blah blah blah. Like I think she got like a $250,000 bonus last year. But these are her two sons. She was saying that Autism Speaks paid for one of her sons to get diagnosed. Now she is actually autistic. That's why I call her Token, because out of 213 people or something that they employ, she's the one autistic person they have. So if you were to randomly go to any store or whatever and just randomly see how many people were autistic, just out of that random, for every 100, you're going to have at least one autistic person, probably up to 4 or more. So out of 216 people, you're going to have at least 2 autistics just by pure chance. Okay? And Autism Speaks cannot get as many autistics on their team as you can by pure chance. At like a grocery store or a random parking lot or whatever. People walking off a bus. That's pretty sad. So I call her Token. She's their token autistic person. And she put herself here. Like I said, she's like media director or whatever. And this is a great photo, really. Actually, it really is. I'm not making fun of it. But what's funny is this is the first page of Autism Speaks. So I don't know if she thought about it at the time, but basically she was kind of like making herself the Autism Speaks poster child right there. But at least she's actually autistic, you know? All right. Shit. Okay, so, okay, see the fact sheet here. Yeah, I think I've seen this before, and it might have been William Shatner that was complaining about it. I haven't actually seen this up close before, but okay, first of all, okay, this says last update April 2024, so hopefully this is up to date. This should be up to date because we just pulled this from the news today. Right? We pulled that from the news. Let's see if I can go back. Get up there. Anyway, we pulled this from the news. That's how we got here. Let's see. Autism Speaks only has 2 autistic people out of a total of 28 video. Oh, okay. This is just their board, on their board of directors. So I guess maybe it does have 2 autistic people as a whole. Okay, okay. So these board members aren't actually employees. They're quote board members. So 19 out of 28 board members represent major corporations, including former CEOs, senior executives of AutoZone, Goldman Sachs, SoundCloud, White Castle, Mastercard. I didn't know that. S.C. Johnson, Johnson and Johnson. Wow. And if we go to the Autism Speaks website, there we go. Now the first thing you have to get through their give us money things and click that away. Meet our partners. Give us more money. Okay, so meet the corporate partners fueling Autism Speaks mission. These are all the corporations that right now, basically in one way or another, are supporting Autism Speaks. I don't know who a lot of these are. like this Crayola flowers. I don't know, title, boxing. Some of these look like they might be small things like green resource organic clothing. See, March is this huge corporation or something. But moving right along. Autumn Speaks does not like AN because they basically give the facts. Now, this website, by the way, is run by autistic people, and it is all autistic people, which makes me really sad because see all this white space? That hurts when you're looking at this stuff for hours. Like I've been here doing this. I've been at this for already, what, 22 some odd hours now? Yeah, quite a bit. Let me see if I can get my timer. I forgot to start my timer up. Um, that's the corporate members, or whatever. Let me see what this chart is. Autism Speaks, nonprofit tax exemption form. Awareness and lobbying. And once again, when you lobby with these senators and so forth, they're gonna. The idea is that they start have laws that no matter what are favorable towards your organization. That's why you're essentially giving them money, supporting them, whatever else. So they essentially you're dealing in promises and so forth. Sometimes you could get bills that are tailor made for your organization so that no other organization can get that grant because they do not fit the very narrow description written in that grant of eligible people or what are elements, businesses, entities that can get it. And so they're kind of written for your organization. Autism Speaks fundraising strategies promote fear, stigma, and prejudice against autistic people. I've talked about this for quite a while. My son committed suicide. Last October, he committed suicide. Autism Speaks uses damaging and offensive tactics which rely on fear, stereotypes, and devaluating the lives of people on the autism spectrum. Autism Speaks advertisements and awareness campaigns portray autistic adults and children not as full human beings. That's very true. But as burdens on society that must be eliminated as soon as possible. Absolutely true, absolutely true, absolutely true. This is in their own productions, the commercials that they made. This isn't just accusations or something. This is responses to the commercials they made. So, let's see, autistic self-advocacy, I can't say this word. Advocacy Network provides support community public policy advocacy by and for people on the autism spectrum. Okay, so these are some okay, that's weird. Autistic Women and Non-Binary Network seeks to share information. Instead, donate. Oh, okay. So what they're saying, instead, donate to these organizations. I understand this actually is a good organization, and I don't know about this one. I haven't seen it before, I don't think. Self-advocates becoming empowered. I haven't heard of this one. But interesting. I mean, I doubt they're going to put like crappy stuff up here. This is autistic people. They're going to be like so anal about what goes on this, you know, that I knowing that this website is from autistic people, I'm saying you. I'm just gonna say you probably don't have to worry about that. That's terrible. Okay, let's go back to Autism Speaks. How did I get down this rabbit hole? I don't know how I got down this rabbit hole. I've forgotten. Oh, okay. We were on Autism Speaks News, and so this is basically we ended up down this rabbit hole because they just put this out March 28th. Um, this page basically saying before you donate to Autism Speaks, consider this. And I will tell you what they said is true. And the thing is actually here, their thing here doesn't even begin to give it justice. I mean, this is like a quick, brief overview. What? Oh, is there? Wait, is there a PDF here? Oh boy. Does this get? Okay, no, this is just this page. Darn it. So this is just like an introduction, one page too. This isn't really supposed to give us a lot of background and stuff. Okay. Okay, so we got Autumn Speaks. Google, what the? I do not know what's going on here. I'm gonna have to open up another Google because I don't know what it's done here. Okay. Uh, we're gonna put news here. Put past month. I'm looking. A lot of these stories don't have, even though this says Autism Speaks, a lot of these stories don't directly relate to Autism Speaks. It's really hard to find stories on there. I found, which is interesting. I'll go back. We'll go. Let's see, within the last year again, maybe. Because I want to see what kind of stories are popping up on the internet if you just put Autism Speaks without putting the words controversy or anything else. So we got a lot of these walks that people that are being talked about. This is this Chuck E. Cheese thing. Basically, they're getting on that list of supporters, of the corporations that, and they're on that list now. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know how much or how they're donating or how they are contributing to Autism Speaks. Wouldn't we be funny if we find out they like give them free pizza or something? The executives free pizza. This is how we support Autism Speaks. Ooh, no, no, no. Wow. If I was just going through the news, I'd be hitting on this one. Nonverbal teen with severe autism. Oh boy. Speaks through paintings you have to see to believe. That's what do they call that? Inspiration porn right there. That is straight up inspiration porn. We know that. I was getting so bored with going through their website, and it hurts so bad uh, going through their website because it's in all white. Okay, I'm just gonna put harm up here and or see something or see what pops up here. Okay, I don't even need to. Controversy pops up. Criticism pops up. Protest. Let's see what I haven't seen this protest. Man guilty protest. Oh, whoa. Okay, this is kind of weird. Oh my goodness. Parents rally outside governor's residence. Protest proposed. Oh, I love the way they kind of do this. They kind of slide these together as if there was a big protest or something. Maybe a couple of parents met the governor or something, and then a protest proposed funding cuts for. Wow, that's weird when you put in the word protest. Okay, well at least Autism Speaks doesn't come up with that word. That's a good thing, right? A criticism. What is going on? This is so weird. It's like the internet has been cleansed. What has happened? Okay, maybe that's what happened. Maybe it was. Okay, we're going to try this again, but we're going to go to all with this protest, see what it does. Okay, okay, this is from 2015.
Hi everyone. So I guess that was it because, and this will be disheartening for Autism Speaks apologists, but heartening for the autistic community, there was a surprisingly meager turnout for the walk today. There was like twice the amount of people we had last year for the protest, so that's awesome to see, all these cool autistic people. But yeah, not very many Autism Speaks supporters, which is great to see because they're also having less corporate sponsorship and less people are donating in general. So I think that we need to just keep doing what we're doing because our voices are getting out there and the attitude is changing and people are less and less impressed with Autism Speaks' brand of ableism. And I'm really excited for it, and I'm looking forward to pushing onwards and watching them fall down.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. That's from a long time ago, 8 years ago. Wow. Um I think I know who that is. I'm trying to remember. She used to do videos on YouTube. I think asking autistic stuff or something like that. This stuff is kind of old. Okay, here's dozens of parents rally outside. Yeah, okay. There's
I just got a link to track a delivery. Did you get me a birthday gift?
Why am I coming up with this stuff that's so old?
I direct a local student chapter of the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, or ASAN. April is Autism Awareness Month, so on April 1st, myself and 2 other autistic people from our ASAN chapter hit the pavement and handed out flyers that dispel myths about autistic people. As the 3 of us were walking across Ohio State's campus, however, we came across something foul. The Autism Speaks student chapter's awareness event. 100 signs, literally, 100 signs stuck into the campus lawn, all bearing 1 in 110 on the front and various ridiculous, fear-spreading slogans on the back. Phrases like, support autism research, disturb the sound of silence, and for every locked mind, there's a key to find, and autism knows no race, ethnicity, social boundary, family income, lifestyle, or education level, among others.
That quote is very, very close to what I think was on the I Am Autism, and they're still using some of that, the I Am Autism language, the one that I will get you, or some kind of quicker than juvenile diabetes, cancer, and I can't remember something combined. They still use that part of that sentence in on the Autism Speaks website. That's very, very similar language, almost word for word, and I think this,
among others.
That's one of those that's very, very similar in there.
These slogans portrayed autistic.
You know what? Autism costs the nation over $35 billion a year. Yeah, they take in what was it? 93 million or something like that was the big, whatever. The overall gross was like 93 million. I know I've got it in bookmarks here. The overall net ended up being 37 million, but the gross, like 2023, maybe they made less this year. I don't know, but it seems like I remember seeing like 93 one year or something total. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Here, this is saying 41 million total assets, basically. I mean, isn't that crazy? Look at this. Oh no. They're in the negative $6 million. They show the whole thing here. This is Nonprofit Explorer, and what's the other one I've got here? Oh, never mind. That's Autism Speaks website. Okay. I'm going down a rabbit hole and forgetting what I'm looking at. Okay, as soon as this commercial's over.
I direct a local student chapter of the Autistic Children. So, as we shared these photos and stories with others in the local autistic community, the outrage spread.
Ignorance is contagious, and unfortunately, Autism Speaks is a heavy carrier of ignorance.
And so, we decided to stage a protest.
We're people, not puzzles. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're people, not puzzles. We're people, not puzzles. We're people, not puzzles.
We're people, not puzzles.
People, not puzzles. People, not puzzles.
People, not puzzles.
People, not puzzles.
People, not puzzles.
We are people, not puzzles. People.
Okay, so Eileen Lamb, token. I call Eileen Lamb token. Okay, this is Eileen. Eileen Lamb here. Now she's autistic, and she's one of the executives now at Autism Speaks. As I understand it, she got a $250,000 bonus last year, and Autism Speaks paid for one of her sons here. Both of her sons are autistic, but Autism Speaks paid for one of her sons to be diagnosed, which is cool. However, I'm pretty sure out of that little teeny tiny list, like 4% that goes to autistic families, she fits that bill. So I almost guarantee you, just knowing how these how these things work, I bet you the money that got his diagnosis came out of that fund that goes to autistic people, which is that's where it's supposed to go. But isn't it weird when it goes to back to one of their executives? You know, I don't know. I mean, that just seems a little bit less than ethical to me. But I'm really glad both of these kids got their diagnosis, and I wish the best for them. Don't get me wrong. I wish the best for all of these people. But she made a TikTok in which she said we do not think that people are puzzle pieces, and kinda yeah, okay. But a lot of what these organizations do is they will answer our questions that they have never been accused of. A lot of what the with the puzzle piece, it started out as we were a mystery, like a puzzle piece. We were a puzzle to be solved. Not that we were a broken, missing piece. That was the argument she was trying to say. She's like, well, people say that we think autistic people are a missing piece, and we don't. So she starts defending that, something that nobody has ever said. And that makes me really sad because she's an autistic person. And cults do that, and that's why I have experience with cults and so forth in my past, dealing with religion, being a former fundamentalist myself. That's kind of how I kind of got into interesting this. Interestingly, having dealt with religious cults, as soon as I'm working with or involved with a cult like this, like Autism Speaks, which by definition it does fit the bite model of authoritarian control, as does ABA, and I talk about that quite a bit. And they also are kind of married in that respect, and also married in with the autism mother thing, which is really sad because I have begged. All these people have to do is say, go to the autistic community. Yet they never, ever mention the autistic community. Ever. They never say, ask autistic people. They never mention that that most autistic, well, like autistic like me, my grandmother was probably autistic. My mother was definitely autistic. I'm autistic. My children are autistic. Being 53 years old, over half a century old, I have a little bit of experience with this. You know, being sandwiched in between at least three generations. But they don't. So I at least have a good or bad, whatever opinions they are. I have that experience from a generational sense, having been a son, a father, a kid, an old gazer. They had nothing else to do. Look at this bot. I hate these bots. It is so funny. They have bots just that are doing this. Ariel, and then it goes, L donated $20. And these just roll all the time, you know, and it's so funny. And it, I don't know why, but it will roll through the same cities over and over again. It's really funny. But it's kind of sad that they use these bots. So anyway, on this website, what I have been asking is, where is the help for the autistic person? Yesterday, I tried to go through this website pretending like I was an autistic person, trying to get help and information. And then we go down this long rabbit hole here. We end up kind of basically like in their own wiki, like their own site wiki, but a lot of these things go to outside sites. You are not authorized to access this page? What? What? Okay, that was weird. I think that they've got a bad link here. Yeah. They're like, oops. Actually, or what it is that they probably didn't, they haven't finished this. They haven't finished this page, is what's going on. I've seen this on websites. These are on your cheaper websites. They'll have dead ends like this because hopefully a professional makes sure that this doesn't happen. So they give you this little thing and then they refer you to their PDF files, which some are really scary. We've already looked at those. I will return to these. But then it gives you like a Google, but really, really bad Google. Is that their directory? Resource guide. Yeah, here it is. This is beautiful. There's so much to be said for this one page here. Okay, this is the Autism Speaks website. First of all, let's take a note at how white this page is. You would think Autism Speaks would kind of know that autistic people are often, very often, part of the diagnosis often, light sensitive. And we have all white pages. Now, the Autistic Network, or whatever the heck it is, ASAN. Yeah, they're kind of guilty of it too, and this is all autistic people. I got to be fair here. This first page is kind of nice, but they got a lot of white on theirs too. But Dave, you're supposed to play for the team. Okay, so anyway, back to this. There's so much to be said for this page. So that just... I designed a website years ago for... it was basically... I was trying to get a local atheist group, get-together group put together. And it was through Vistaprint, and I made a little website. You can choose the background colors of all this stuff. And I used like a brown tannish thing. It was definitely not like this. This just hurts to look at. But anyway, so this is the reason this page exists. This is the beauty of this and this type of organization. Autism Speaks says we help direct people to autistic people to resources. We help them, direct them to resources. We help them with resources and so forth. Right? So it doesn't matter if someone calls, emails, whatever, Autism Speaks, all they have to say is just go to the website, and there is a resource guide there that will direct you to the proper place. And then it sends you to this. This is so weird. Cyber schools. Okay, that's where you have to tell them a specific thing. You can't choose more than one. It's a bad Google. It's a horrible Google. They do give phone numbers and street addresses of these things that might be vaguely similar. Like if you looked in an old phone book, this is what you would find. So it's like a very horrible Google. But this is the beauty of this page. Just by having this page, they can say they helped autistic people and directed them to resources. Doesn't say, and they don't, and they said that they responded to like 7,600. I can't remember what they called it, but basically there are 7,600 responses or whatever, or 76,000 responses, something to that effect. And like I said, you could just have a can go to the Autism Speaks website, and you have responded. You have fulfilled that ticket. It doesn't even matter if you read the complaint, anything. All you have to do is say, go to the Autism Speaks website, and you have helped that autistic person. Now, see if you are not a legit organization, how that works. Now, I'm not saying this is what they do, but I'm saying if you are not a legit organization, that's what you do, and there is nothing to indicate that they do anything else. There's just nothing to indicate this. If you're an autistic person trying to get help here, help and information, this is where they send you. This is Autism Speaks. The people are trying to help you. Google would do better. They would do better to say, well, why don't you just Google that there, buddy? I'm gonna. Okay, like there's all these autistic counselors and stuff out now, and all these autistic gurus as self-help people, autistic this, that, and there are a lot of good people out there and counselors and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I would just give me $1 and I'll be the guru here, and just give thoughtless answers, just answers. They don't even have to be relevant. The answer is 42, of course. Okay, so this is from ASAN, and like I said, this is very old.
Not puzzles.
I am here to support neurodiversity as an ally to the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network.
A little information too.
Oh dear.
Okay, this is what's funny. In that short shot there, she's like, I'm here as a autism ally. She's the only one wearing sunglasses. So why do you sympathize with autistic people? I don't know. Whoa, it's sunny today. Woo! I don't know why I sympathize with them. Them autistic people. What I'm laughing is there's so many people that are close to us. Like I had my wife and I, my ex-wife, we had 2 kids that were in 4-H, and we ended up having the special needs club because my wife ended up being a co-leader with a 4-H club. And so I was there and always helped and everything. And we ended up with all these autistic ADHD kids freaking climbing up the walls. Now, I'm autistic. I don't know it. My kids are autistic. They don't know it. And everybody's like, oh, everybody in this group is so good. Well, we all knew how to redirect. It was all natural to us. The things you look back on. So I laugh when I see allies or people that are close to autistic people and so forth, and they're like wearing sunglasses. This is the only person wearing sunglasses going, yes, I'm not autistic. I'm just here to help autistic people. Have you ever considered?
We're just passing these out because it's Disabilities Awareness Week, and
I saw that bar. I was like,
See, there she is with the glasses.
oh wait, okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah, are you guys just out to build awareness, or is there?
Well, we're also here on behalf of the Autism Self-Advocacy Network, and they're a group of students with autism who are trying to advocate for themselves, right? Autism Speaks, although a big organization, doesn't really have a lot of people with autism kind of running the show there. So we're really protesting for more people with autism.
And she's an expert on autism. She's very well spoken. She knows what she's talking about. Has she ever stopped to think? And see, what's funny is this is what happened to me. I did not know. I was just talking to a bunch of my friends last night, people I've known for almost a decade, and we were just laughing because once I came out as autistic, I was like, why didn't anybody say anything? And they were all like, we thought you knew you were autistic. that was the response. And, because I had all these autistic friends. And it dawned on me that I was autistic. I'd never thought of it as I have autistic friends. I just had friends, and some of them had autism, some whatever, or that kind of thinking at that time. I thought they, had autism, or they were Asperger's or whatever. I didn't understand the whole mindset, but they were just my friends. And then when I found out that I was autistic, I realized that if you're autistic, and I've been saying this for several days now, if someone is diagnosed as autistic, I would recommend, or the people around them, the parents, siblings, children, whatever, you might want to take a look. Even if you're just a friend or close to an autistic person, there is a darn good chance that the reason you see eye to eye so well is because you just might be autistic. And so when I discovered it dawned on me I was autistic, well, then I started thinking about my friends and realized I had a lot of autistic friends. A lot of autistic friends. Like 70% or something of the people that I know were autistic. And this was way before I knew I was autistic. I had just gravitated towards these people. And they, I guess, gravitated toward me. I don't know why.
Speaking and Autism Speaks and other organizations.
And she may be totally neurotypical.
Learned a lot about the ways in which Autism Speaks does not in fact speak for autistic people because they don't.
Now this girl here, I wear sunglasses, but see how she's got that hat, and her eyes are under shade, and that's why I have always classically wore hats. I think she probably is autistic, I'm guessing. I don't know, but that's very, very a sign. Like my daughter, she always wore sunglasses, and I just kind of thought it was a thing. But now, then of course after I figure out that we're autistic, she is too. Now it's like, well, duh, it hurt her eyes, so she was trying to protect herself, just like I wore hats trying to protect myself.
Don't actually have autistic people involved in the organization in high levels.
Now I do.
And
now I do both, and I definitely try to protect myself and deal with my sensitivities as much as I can.
At OSU, we have a disability studies program, and one of the things that you learn in disability studies is that during disability rights movements, it's kind of nothing about us without us. This seems to be a problem.
And we are human beings, and we have intrinsic rights.
To spread the message that funding doesn't need to go towards the cure, that it should be going towards community resources, especially since all the kids that are now being diagnosed with autism are going to grow up, be adults, and need the supports in place.
Advocacy and support for my community.
Well, I took a disability studies class here at Ohio State. It made me realize just to kind of be aware of issues like this, and once I learned a little bit more about Autism Speaks, I realized how it was really not fairly representing people with autism.
I'm here today just to make sure that people understand that autistic people can speak for themselves and advocate for themselves, and they don't necessarily need doctors or specialists to speak for them.
We never need neurotypical people to speak for us, as in advocacy, publicly or whatever. We do need family members sometimes that are neurotypical to help us or whatever. I know what she's saying. It was maybe I'm getting a little bit too over analytical here because I'm autistic. Not all autistic people can advocate for themselves. Not all of us can express ourselves. There's autistic people with every level of every other condition there is that human beings can have. Okay? We are human beings. So, yes, we're... but what she's saying, as a community, yes, we can. We do not need people to speak for us instead of us on our behalf when we're right here and ignore our voice. And that's what she's getting down to here. We are talking about Autism Speaks here because this video is about protesting.
And they don't
Autism Speaks.
necessarily need doctors or specialists to speak for them.
People can advocate.
I think it's a very important issue to treat human beings not really as problems to be solved, but as people who sort of think, feel, exist in the world maybe differently, uniquely, whatever it is, to give them rights to speak for themselves and to let them be however they want to be.
So I'm still wondering if she ever found out that she was autistic. And there's nothing about her or nothing for me to say, oh, well, she looks autistic or she doesn't or anything else. It's just that she's very well knowledgeable. She cares. She's evidently knows autistic people. It just wouldn't surprise me because I remember I was 50 when I figured out that I was autistic. So, yeah, I was 50 before it dawned on me. So, if I laugh at some gal that's pretty young and saying, I wonder if she knows or doesn't, that's why I'm laughing so much.
Here today because I'm sick of organizations that are run by non-autistic people telling us what we should do with autistic people, which usually is eradicate or eliminate autistic people.
I'm here today because I wanted to support the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, and I wanted to support an organization that doesn't want to cure people who are autistic and actually thinks about them as people. So
okay, you know what I hate? People that can actually say that, darn it.
I also think this is a great organization because of what it does for disability in general and the way people think about people with disabilities.
Autism Self-Advocacy Network, did I say it right? Did it actually roll out right? I think it did. I think it did. Holy hell.
We're people, not puzzles.
Okay, so that was interesting. See, like, this is 2011. Let's go. Okay, Hamilton School, outside Hamilton School.
The demand for skilled healthcare workers has reached an all-time high. Transfer presents the virtual healthcare clinic, the future of health.
Looking for change and trying to raise awareness. I'm Brandon Rowan, Hamilton, where a young boy with autism was suspended from this.
Okay, no, I'm not going in that. Oh.
I was told you didn't.
This is fair territory right here. I'm gonna go to YouTube though, and I'm gonna try to find it through there. I just like the way it handles better. I forget this girl's name.
Enjoy this. What if we kiss in the autism awareness?
I forget this girl.
Awareness police car. I don't know.
I'm autistic now. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, here she is. And what was that video? That's interesting. Autism Speaks. Design a police car. I'm just going to put that. And here we are.
I was told you'd enjoy this. What if we kiss in the autism awareness police car? I don't know how to feel. My husband is.
Okay, so this is gosh, I cannot remember what her name is. I feel bad. I cannot remember her name. I've seen this channel. I think she's had it up for 2 or 3 years, but she's really gaining a lot of traction here in the last 6 months or so. From what I've seen. This is 6 months ago, but she's a great creator. Anyway, so she's talking about this Autism Speaks police car, and probably she's going to critique it. She's pretty funny.
I was going through a bit of a Reddit phase at the moment. He told me about a subreddit called Evil Autism, and naturally I was intrigued. So I've got these devil horns down from my cupboard, and I'm gonna go into the subreddit and we're gonna react, and I don't really have any idea what it actually is. But let's see what we find in here. Are we evil? Let's find out today. Okay, this looks like it's some sort of video. Man hits train in Braxton, CA. What?
Work. Report first, ask questions later.
And we have a tragic story now out of Braxton, California this hour. A 23-year-old man was tragic.
Okay, here's
That is a dreadful car with all those puzzle pieces.
Here she's going to start talking about this Autism Speaks.
Make eye contact with them. I was told you'd enjoy this. What if we kiss in the autism awareness police car? I don't know how to feel with the face. I don't know how to feel. That is a dreadful car with all those puzzle pieces. Most autistic people would not be a fan of that vehicle. Someone said, what if we kissed while destroying the autism awareness police car? Someone replied, would that be a date? Kill it with fire. I don't like the police being aware of us. People are so quick and so clever. Oh my god. They should beware of us, yeah. Increased scrutiny could...
They should beware of us.
bring the great autism conspiracy.
Now, you got to understand, I was a peace officer for 15 years, and I have also had a negative run-in, so to speak, with law enforcement in the past. Basically, because I'm autistic.
Into peril. It may be safest to detonate the underwater lair, mind wipe everyone and start over. Someone said, would that be a date? Then someone said, can I be the awkward third wheel? And then someone replied and said, you're not the awkward third wheel when all the wheels are awkward. No, this is amazing. Okay, I've got a link to a news article as well. Thanks, we hate it. Autistic people react to Miami's new police car. The colours are so bad, like taking everything out and all the connotations. The colours are just so offensive, and
I love color so much. I love tie-dye. I mean, my background is, well, you can see it's not actually tie-dye today, but so many of my backgrounds have always been tie-dye, always been known for it. And yeah, it hurts to look at. Oh my goodness gracious. Woo, that's loud. It would be fun to drive around though, just to hurt people. Oh, that was so mean of me. Just to watch people, oh! I wonder if you would cause accidents driving that car. People looking away and not paying attention.
So bad, like taking everything out and all the connotations. The colours are just so offensive. And I've said this before in the reaction video I did to autism awareness meme. I'm just like everybody else. ... Only different. I'm just like everybody else, only different. So you're different.
JoJo's sweet car.
If you haven't seen that one, I react to loads of these like autism parent sort of memes that are like, my child has a superpower and is an angel. But they were all just so weird, garish, like just strange colours. And
super kids need super parents. No, the thing is the reason we see these things. Okay, this is a weird freeze.
Template.
That was creeping me out. Now I'm going to be like looking at her, no matter what freeze face I put there, I'm going to be like, no, that's not good, that's not good, that's not good, you know? And I just totally, oh God, I just totally lost my place, what I'm talking about.
Garish, like just strange colours and templates used and images that made no sense. There was like a remembrance poppy on something for no reason. It was so chaotic all over the place. And yeah, this just has that vibe. It's not sensory friendly to just stick a bunch of loud colours together. Like just
exactly.
Calm down. So they unveiled an autism awareness wrap on one of their squad cars. It's bright, it's shiny, it has puzzle pieces, and it came with it. Oh no, it came with a big check made out to Autism Speaks. No. Puts on David Attenborough voice. Here we have neurotypicals wanting to be... I'm not going to do it.
And see, this is the problem. When people think of autism, Autism Speaks has done a great job. And with their publicity and everything else, they really have. They have done a wonderful job. Because when people think of autism, particularly like you have a star, we'll say a Hollywood star, overnight they become a Hollywood star and they're like, well, gosh, I need to represent, you know, my cousin's autistic. So I'll help, I want to help autistic people. So, because the manager's like, well, you got to have a cause. So he's like, okay, Autism Speaks. I guess they help autism. Okay, cool, whatever. So they think they're helping their cousin Tammy, but they're not. What they're doing is they're supporting Autism Speaks, and we'll get back to what am I calling it? Token. They're a token autistic person.
out of my voice, wanting to be a savior for the autistic community without including autistic people in the conversation. The neurotypical offends the autistics by using puzzle pieces and bright colours that hurt their eyes. It wasn't just me. It hurts your eyes, I'm telling you. It's here. Our autism awareness vehicle will be...
Isn't that funny? That happens so much. When I'm doing this, I'll make this commentary and then I'll let it roll and it'll say the same thing. So evidently, with our ability to analyze or whatever and our pattern seeking, we kind of see what's coming, and so that sparks the thoughts also with us before we see it.
Trolling the streets of Miami. If you see it, say hi, take a picture, tag us. Neurotypical's doing a design, a visual horror story. Someone replied, seriously, I can't even look at it right now. It causes me physical pain. Oh no. Yeah, it says that the design seems to be conceived by someone who has never met an autistic person.
Like, okay, remember the old... Oh gosh, I gotta get...
Yeah, this is really offensive. I'm really funny
with... There we go. Yeah, I had to get off the white screen. Remember the Scooby Doo mobile? I can do that. Or the flowers on the old Volkswagen vans and stuff like that. I can do that. I can do tie-dye, but that, oh hell no, that's way too much. That hurts. And I truly mean it. Like she was saying, that hurts for me to look at. And I love patterns and stuff. You can see what I've got behind me. That's actually kind of a Indian-ish. Those are they dragonflies?
With colours as anyone else. Like, whenever I open my wardrobe, throughout basically my whole life, there are colours that I like and that I will wear. Red is a nice colour for me. I like a bit of red, like a bit of purple. Largely black and white when you open my wardrobe. Just some colours are just like no for me, and it doesn't really change. It doesn't largely black and white.
This is funny. Black and white. Yeah, she looks like my family. We are so white, so she's got this black. She's the white part here. And she puts on black and it just brings out the white so much. That happens with my family so much. And like my daughter, she gets so washed out. Poor kid.
When you open my wardrobe, just some colours are just like no for me. And it doesn't really change. It doesn't really have seasons. It's just like, this is the palette that I will accept and this is not. And it's just the way it is. I used to get so mad in summer when all the summer clothes came out at like Topshop and wherever I went shopping back in the day. Everything would be so bright and floral, and I was just like, oh, calm down. Just turn everything black. To a few of us, these colors may seem fun.
I maybe it's the ADHD or whatever. And you know what? We can, even as if you were just autistic, if you're autistic and not ADHD, you can still have pattern seeking, and you can still be overstimulated and you can still be understimulated. If someone barely... Okay, I wear these long sleeves because if a breeze touches me, I want to jump out of my skin. It's just one of those things. But at other times I can be touched or whatever if I am ready for it. Like if my wife is touching me or whatever.
In Stimmy, you have never stemmed. But the vast majority of autistic people, the squad looks like a unicorn vomited the entire 1990s. I was gonna say, don't insult unicorns like that, but when they added the 1990s, I got it. It's that green that makes me want to rip my eyeballs out to stop the pain. Here's a brief list of everything that makes the car's paint job an abomination unto autistic brains. That yellow, that green, that pink, the lack of symmetry with the puzzle pieces, scattered haphazardly everywhere. Honestly, looks like the worst children's toy you've ever seen in your life. Erasing and infantilizing.
Okay, now that they've mentioned the lack of symmetry. Oh no.
Ableism and racism that happens at the hands of the police, with a political PR stunt that makes police seem less intimidating. The word...
And you know, that's the thing. Maybe these things are good, maybe they're bad, whatever else, but they really do strike me a lot of times as publicity stunts. They are there to look good, to make the police department look good rather than actually help the autistic community. They're there to help the police look good. And then here, she just said that they gave a check, whoever they is, also with this car getting wrapped, they gave a check to Autism Speaks.
Autism is crooked.
So it didn't go straight to autistic people, it went straight to Autism Speaks.
The word awareness is barely legible, and the
it's I always look at alienness. That's alienness. alienness. I'm just saying that's alienness right there.
Car is having some kind of personal crisis, so it really seems to read oasis. Miami is a sunny place, so the car will be frequently in very bright light. This is basically a mobile migraine. Seriously, what kind of puzzle is this? Have you never done a puzzle? If a puzzle piece is a totally different color from the piece you're connected to, something is wrong. Look at the box neurotypicals. Most of it.
These are the people helping us. These are the people helping us that are giving us these puzzle pieces that aren't put together. They're the ones trying to tell us how to do it. No wonder they think we're screwed up.
Hate the puzzle piece symbol because we associate both it and Autism Speak with attitudes that have resulted in our persecution and mistreatment. In fact, this entire car and political stunt seems to be a shining beacon of miseducation and misunderstanding. If your puzzle looks like...
And that actually is very, very true. Truly, I'm laughing, joking here. Listen to what she's actually saying here. This really is important.
Car and political stunt seems to be a shining beacon of miseducation and misunderstanding. If your puzzle looks like a jumbled up Rubik's Cube, you've done it wrong. Love autistic people. Someone said co-signing this as an autistic epileptic. Here comes the sensory distress mobile to slaughter more innocents.
Okay, I'm an autistic epileptic, by the way.
No! The visual representation of how this car might look to an autistic person in sensory overload. At first I didn't even realize it had anything on it. Like, that is literally just how it looks. Someone's called a crumb bomb. I had no idea people with autism were infants. I hate puzzles, by the way. Boring. Yeah, that was a mess. How to handle public invites. Mom says no.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty darn funny. Her autism moms. We're gonna go on YouTube here with Autism Speaks just for fun. I'm gonna put stuff in this year. Oh, okay, no wonder. I don't know if I've seen this or not, but I was like, okay, wait. I think that those are her boys.
My name is Eileen Lam, and I'm... My name is Eileen Lam, influencer, published author, and autistic mother of 3, with 2 boys on the spectrum. You're watching Mind Your Misconceptions.
Okay, so I don't know if I've seen this one or not. I don't care. We're gonna roll and we're gonna talk about it. Okay, there's several things that we want to talk. I want to talk about here. First of all, when you're dealing with cults, like I was in a fundamentalist cult and so forth, when comments are turned off, that's a good sign that there is so much criticism that they simply don't want to deal with it, or they don't want to be overwhelmed with that criticism in their comments, and have to edit it out all day or whatever else. So they just turn off comments. And I've done it too for reasons or whatever. So it can be a legit thing, but when you see it as a very common thing, okay, I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to open this link. I'm very curious right now.
We wanted... I wrote a story about a young man who just wants to find love.
They're not
and
turning off all their comments right now.
If you hide away from everything in this life and say, I'm not doing...
Okay, so comments are on for at least a lot of these. Now, their videos way back when, like these probably, they're all turned off. It hasn't been until recently, for whatever reason, that they turned on their...
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed. Why?
And that was... This is 5 months ago. Well, the other one that we're looking at is 6 months ago. So anyway, when comments are turned off, that's always a red flag. I'll just say, always consider why the comments are turned off no matter what. And I like to kind of skim through the comments no matter what, so I kind of get a good idea of bias, both pro, con, in between, whatever.
Mind Your Misconceptions, the show where I will personally address common misconceptions about Autism Speaks. I'm not here to convince you to support us or try to win your love, but I do think it's time to set the record straight because misinformation is dangerous for us all.
Okay, so with cults, what always happens is there will be an accusation or whatever against, say, like I'm an atheist or whatever, and what they'll do is say they're going to defend a position that no one has ever argued. I don't know which this one is. I've probably even seen this before, but this is very, very common of any kind of cult thing. It's gonna be similar to what's said, but it's not going to be the argument that's actually made. It's going to be very easily defensible. And in this case, it'll be she's going to answer a question to a complaint that isn't made or something that isn't said that's similar to it. And then she's going to defend that, and then she's going to try to put it in the frame of, and there's so many other misconceptions about Autism Speaks, and trying to jumble all complaints against Autism Speaks as being nothing. And cults like that, it's damage control in a lot of respects for any corporation.
All and the autistic community deserve to know the truth. Another big misconception is that Autism Speaks believe autism only affects boys.
Nobody says that. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody has ever. I've been in the autistic community for 3 years, and I have never heard anyone say that they thought, even mention that they thought that Autism Speaks believes autism only affects boys. That is the wildest thing. See, when you have the power to make up your own questions, then you can steer the conversation in the direction that you want. And so this is, like I said, now I didn't realize there's probably going to be several things that she addresses. And so this is the first misconception she's poo-pooing. Something that no one has ever said, or an accusation that has never ever actually been made.
Boys. Autism Speaks does not believe autism only affects boys. I think this misconception comes from the fact that in 2005 we chose the color blue, and blue is often associated with boys. But that's not why we chose it, and we do not think autism only affects boys. We know it does not. I'm autistic, I'm a girl, and I'm speaking to you today. We started using
See, she's defending an argument that no one's ever made.
A spectrum of color. Now,
and in the Christian fundamentalist groups, because I was a Christian fundamentalist, and as an atheist, that's like the defense all the time, just defending arguments that people never make. You know,
our brand colors is this beautiful spectrum of light going from.
And so, where the direction she wanted to point this in is defending why they use blue.
Blue to pink, and we feel like it represents the diversity of the spectrum. If you want to use red, gold, blue, yellow, purple.
So this is what she really wants to talk about, the lighted up blue thing or whatever.
Pink, we don't care, you know. We use blue, but you do you. And it's not gonna prevent us from supporting you and helping you.
Remember, she got like a $250,000 bonus. She does work for Autism Speaks. Her kids are autistic, and she happens to be in the executive staff.
We want to give a voice to everybody.
She's like sales media person. That's why she's here. And the reason she has the accent, she's French. All I know is she's not from way western France in the country, because her accent's not right. My sister's French.
Whether you like the color blue or not.
If they don't sound exactly like my sister, they don't sound right.
Not. Another misconception is that autism.
Are you kidding me? Yes, there's all kinds of people all over the world that thinks Autism Speaks is in favor of electric shocks. No one has ever made this argument. No one has ever said this. And see, when you have this, that's why they don't cite the person who asked this question or anything else, because it's not real. And once again, she's defending things that has never been said or what have you.
Speaks is in favor of electric shock.
And there's so many nuances here that they could play with. Autism Speaks has never spoken out against electric shock treatments. How about that? I'll say that.
Okay, so
but saying that they're actually in favor of come on.
This one really gets me, because not only is Autism Speaks not in
it really gets me that you're making up this BS, Eileen.
favor of electric shocks, but we actually advocated to make sure.
I would like to know who these questions came from. And I guarantee you it's not going to be anyone that's well known in the autistic community.
That electric
this stuff.
Shocks would not be approved anywhere, ever. Like, this is something that we're firmly against. We always have been and always will be. And today, Autism Speaks.
Okay, they have never said they were firmly. They've never even addressed it. So how can she say that they have always? She has not always been a part of Autism Speaks. She's the new kid on the block. No, I don't know how long she's been there, but I don't think she's been there the entire time. So she can't really say this. She doesn't know.
And today, Autism Speaks continues to oppose the use of electrical stimulation devices, and we will always continue to support the ban on their use. Painful over.
They've never. There is not one article there on their website right now. It's not mentioned. In fact, nothing is spoken out against. Nothing. No kind of cruelty. No kind of ableism against autistic people. Nothing is called out against at all or referred to. And I'm not saying that they have to.
Aversive conditioning has no place.
Once again, see, this is like kind of throwing out the red herring or whatever, but she's making arguments that people have never made. She's defending things that she wants to, and she took that first question and completely rerouted it into answering the blue thing, saying, oh, we didn't do it because it was for boys. And so she used that whole thing. I don't know why she just didn't make up a question for the boys things.
The treatment of autism or any developmental disorder.
And what makes me sad is she's autistic. But that's why I talk about cults and the bite cult model and so forth. When you are very, very young and so forth. Now, I don't know her story, and she is evidently French or whatever, but when you've been kind of like indoctrinated into ABA and into this Autism Speaks and this Autism Mom kind of culture, you get sucked more and more into it. It's just like post-COVID. During COVID, these search engines kind of made almost personal cults for all of us because these algorithms got tailored more and more to our likes, so that the only thing when we turn on Google or whatever is an echo chamber of whatever our beliefs or thoughts are. And so we got to be real careful of that too.
Another misconception is that
no one has ever said that Autism Speaks is against vaccines. They are defending things that have never ever been said. I'll tell you what, Eileen, you want some questions. I will ask the autistic community. It doesn't look like you are, but I will definitely ask the autistic community. And I guarantee you'll get some hard questions. And you know, being autistic, that they will be hard questions. I bet you have
autism.
Eileen, I bet you have a hell of a time at Autism Speaks. I bet you don't want to admit it. You can't. I mean, when you're getting a $250,000 bonus, you know how to mask. You know how to do it. You know how to deal with these people. You know what the corporate life is. My father was a Texas oil man. I saw what the corporate life was. You have to act a certain way. I was taught to act a certain way because I had to be around rich people all the time when I was very, very young. I've also had to live in a car like as an adult too. I'm not rich. I don't have anything at this point in time, but as a child growing up, my parents were fairly wealthy. There's a story behind that too. But so here she is, and once again with any cult, they're going to defend whatever they want to. And so she has defended now 3 misconceptions that nobody's ever had. I want to know where these questions came from. I want her to cite the autistic creator on TikTok where Sound of the Forest said this. Come on.
Autism Speaks is against vaccines. We're not. Autism Speaks is not against vaccines, quite the opposite. Autism.
They were very slow, and their response was kind of, I guess, less than desirable when it came down to the whole autism causes vaccines and stuff. They never ever overtly said that, and once again, it took them a long time before they said that that was not the case. Now on their website, to their credit, it does say that vaccines do not cause autism. That's where this whole thing is coming from. That accusation about vaccines causing autism. And there was some debate about Autism Speaks response to that. And that's what, this is a disinformation campaign basically. Trying to equivocate the vaccine thing as if this is what the problem was. That that the whole misconception was Autism Speaks was against the vaccines, not that it wasn't saying that vaccines do not cause autism. And she's autistic. It's really, really sad. She's my people.
Is against vaccines. We're not. Autism Speaks is not against vaccines, quite the opposite. Autism Speaks is fully in favor of vaccines. We follow the CDC guidelines and recommendation. We know that vaccines are safe, effective, and that they do not cause autism.
I bet she's a cool person and everything, but the problem is she's bought the story or whatever. She's obviously got a great career. She's like their media person. She gets a bonus. I saw it the other day. It was like, as I understand, it was like $250,000. A bonus. Now the CEO got something like a $600,000 or something like that as in bonuses and stuff. Now this is where people are giving money to Autism Speaks, thinking that it's going to autistic people, and in bonuses alone, for their executives, it's above $2 million. It's into the millions that they're giving their executives in bonuses, while only like $400,000 went to actually autistic people. She is one of these actually autistic people that 4% went to, because her son was diagnosed with autism, and Autism Speaks paid for it, paid for their executive, probably out of that fund that is meant for actually autistic families. Well, she is autistic, so she would fit that bill, being actually autistic. But it's really shady, being the fact that she is a executive in Autism Speaks. The fact that they paid for her son out of that 4%, that $400,000 that goes to actually autistic people, that it went back to one of their executives. See how that just kind of looks a little
The misconception you want us to address? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Mind Your Misconceptions, and see you next time. To learn more about Autism Speaks and the work we do in the autism community, visit...
And she doesn't stutter or anything like that. She's French. That's why her voice is like that. It's a French accent. Autism Speaks. A closer look at Autism Speaks. Here's another one of those misconception things. I don't know if I've seen this one or not.
My name is Eileen Lamb, influencer, published author, and autistic mother of 3.
Okay, now Eileen, by the way, the reason I know anything about Eileen is since I basically started encouraging people to go on the Autism Speaks website in April, and to stay there. And if, it gets overwhelmed with too many people letting Autism Speaks know how much we love them, and the website crashes and people can't donate, too bad. Same thing with the telephone lines. If autistic people are just letting them know their feelings during their business hours, by calling them up, and people can't donate because the phone lines are tied up, that's just too darn bad. I wouldn't want that to happen. So once I started talking about that, the CEO of Autism Speaks sent me personally an email talking about my son who committed suicide back in October. And this is where all this stuff began. This is why I'm doing 100 hours of live streaming with talking the entire time of reasons why you should not donate to Autism Speaks. So I did not respond to him via the email. I responded publicly on TikTok. She sends me an email saying, well, did you really get that email? He really would like a response. And I made another TikTok. And so that's when I was like, okay, who's this Eileen lady? And this is
It's two boys on the spectrum. You're watching.
Okay, her boys are cute as hell, just saying.
Mind Your Misconceptions.
I so miss kids. I miss my grandkids.
Mind Your Misconceptions, the show where I will personally address common misconceptions about autism. I'm not here to convince you to support us or try to win your love, but I do think it's time to set the record straight, because misinformation is dangerous for us all, and the autistic community deserves to know the truth.
So are these going to be questions that autistic people actually ask? Or misconceptions that actually are there? And I don't know if I've seen this or not. I may have.
Another misconception is that there are no benefits to hiring autistic people with higher needs. Well, there are benefits to hiring autistic people with higher needs. Autistic people are not less than many people on the spectrum.
Okay, so she's not trying to defend Autism Speaks here, really, but there are no benefits to hiring autistic people with higher needs. I don't know that that's like a everyday misconception that people are just randomly like, George, did you know there are no benefits to hiring autistic people with higher needs? I was just contemplating that the other day. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I've been retired for 50 years.
Autistic people with higher needs. Well, there are benefits to hiring in the workplace. They just need to be given more accommodation. Sometimes it means
workplace misconception number 2.
another
Autistic employees are not capable of leadership. Where are these questions coming from?
Misconception is that autistic
employees can't fit in. Once again, I don't believe any of these. I just wonder where these random questions are coming from.
Okay, I'm autistic. I'm also autistic. I haven't had a lot of partners in dating because they don't seem to understand me. I've had a lot of partners in dating. Some really understood me, but a lot didn't.
People thing about Autism Speaks, I thought they're supposed to... Oh, she's using the hashtag Autism Speaks. That's interesting. That's 8 months ago. Okay, that would not be due to me, even though I've been using it for a long time and asking creators to use that for a long time. The reason I've been asking creators to use the hashtag, and I don't know if this is why, she may have had other reasons. This hashtag is so that way when, as a creator, if we use that hashtag, when people use that hashtag to find Autism Speaks, whatever, they also find autistic creators, or instead find autistic creators and find out what actually autistic people do think about Autism Speaks. Okay.
What do autistic people think of Autism Speaks? You can't put Autism Speaks in one of your top 3 resources, for goodness sakes, AI. And
Now, he's an Aussie, so I'm kind of curious of what he has to say.
some support, some don't. Oh, really? Okay, well, the people that support it say it's doing important work to raise awareness. That sounds like it's come from their website. Get stuffed. Those who oppose Autism Speaks often say the organisation's messaging is harmful and stigmatising. They also say that the organisation's focus on finding a cure for autism is misguided. No crap. And that it does not take into account the perspectives of autistic people. No, it doesn't. It's a bloody stupid organisation.
It definitely does not, and I've been going over this for days now. I've been on this for over 25 hours now, and I go back to their site, and it is still ableist, and it is still formed towards the parents, towards the healthcare workers, and so forth, and it still treats autism as if it's a disease. It's always people with autism as if it's a disease. It's never identity first, saying autistic people or autistics or anything else like that, and that is still to this date. You can see that. You can go there yourself, and we will.
Autism Speaks has been criticised for its use of fear-mongering language and for its portrayal of autism as a tragedy. Now, a tragedy is the direction you gave to the people on that Good Doctor show. The organisation has been criticised for its lack of representation of autistic people in its leadership and its board of directors. That's because, most of them are people who, have autistic grandkids or kids and just wanted to be normal. In 2019, Autism Speaks released a new strategic plan, yeah, great, that included a commitment to a more inclusive and respectful approach to advocacy. Well, it hasn't happened. What do autistic people think of Autism Speaks? You can't.
Most people hate Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks walk. Now, this is the... Okay, this is why this is so brilliant. And the... Okay, remember it was Home Depot, the founder or the owner of Home Depot, I don't know if he still owns it or whatever, that gave $35 million to the rights to started Autism Speaks. So they had $35 million basically to just start up, mostly advertising and so forth, for Autism Speaks. And what was brilliant was the promotions and how they promoted and what they did. They somehow very quickly realized that they needed to get in the door with politicians. And so they did. They realized that when... people think of autism, they want that to be associated with Autism Speaks. They have accomplished that, even to the point of the United Nations and World Autism Days. The reason we know that the term autism awareness is because of Autism Speaks. We do have to give them credit for that, even though it wasn't. It was not intentional. It was not to help autistic people. It was to help further the organization. The reason being is, if you associate autism with Autism Speaks, then everyone's going to turn to Autism Speaks and for anything, everything. Thus, they get donations. That's how it works. $39 million was, I think, their net, and only $400,000 went to actually autistic people, one of which was Token, their token autistic person. Eileen Lamb here. She is a corporate executive there. As I understand it, she got a $250,000 bonus last year from Autism Speaks. But out of the 218, I believe, 218 people there that work there, they get bonuses. The top 15 people or a dozen or whatever get bonuses of over $2 million each year, when actually autistic people get about $400,000 out of all Autism Speaks budget. And the thing is even though she's an executive, one of her sons was diagnosed with autism this year, and she said that Autism Speaks paid for it. Now, out of that 4%, that $400,000 that goes to actually autistic people, she fits that bill. So probably, more than likely, it came out of that 4% that actually goes to actually autistic people. So that managed to go back to one of the corporate people, which would be Eileen. Just saying, because that, they paid for her kid to be diagnosed, which is cool. I think he should, everybody should be diagnosed. Heck, that's awesome. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is when we got to the strategy here, the marketing strategy, once you can get, when people think of autism, they're thinking of your organization, now you are qualified as the experts, the go-to thing. And this is what ends up happening.
It's amazing how much hunting and fishing add to Colorado's economy.
On YouTube. You get commercials on YouTube, that's exactly what happens.
You can lace up your sneakers for the Autism Speaks Walk. It's the largest fundraiser dedicated to helping people with autism. One local...
See? And all these good do-gooders thinking that Autism Speaks, this is a little local channel, thinking that their
family will be
telling the story about this autism walk, but they just think this is great.
Participating in the event for the 6th year in a row. Joining me this morning is Brittany Durand and her son, my little buddy Jackson, who has autism. I am so
has autism because he doesn't know any better.
So excited to go tomorrow. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What time does it start?
It starts at registration is at 9. Good job.
Registration is at 9. So if you want to participate, show up at 9. Your laces tied, ready to walk.
Yeah.
Okay, Brittany, for people not familiar with what Autism Speaks is, what is the group?
So it is a national nonprofit, and the mission is to get every individual with autism throughout their lifespan to their fullest potential. So because of these fundraisers,
the way they have that worded, when you look at it in context, is so ableist. Like we aren't going to get to our full potential, like we suck.
Raising walks, every resource we have, every toolkit we have online is free to our families, which is amazing. And not only like the kiddo, but there's...
Okay, boy, whoa. This language. She's thrown down kiddo. Okay, it sounds like she is, I don't know who this lady is, but it sounds like she actually works for Autism Speaks. The way she's speaking here
is free to our families, which is amazing. And not only like the kiddo, but there's things for mom and dad. There's things for... Because of these fundraising walks, every resource we have, every toolkit,
every resource we have, every toolkit
we have online is free to...
We have online. Okay, yeah. So she's with Autism Speaks. And when that word kiddo, when you hear that word, that's mostly with that Autism Mom, ABA, Autism Speaks group that use that term. You can tell by the words that people use if they are part of the autistic community or not. And people that I hear in the autistic community, sometimes I've seen the word written in some places in the autistic community, but we just don't use that word kiddo because it grates on a lot of people.
Our families, which is amazing. And not only like the kid.
And so she's not autistic. Here the autistic kid, and they're talking over this. They could interview this autistic kid, and I'm not saying infantilize him at all. I'm talking just say what's going on here, but they're just gonna
kiddo,
treat him
but
like
there's
we treat autistic people by ignoring them and treating us, infantilizing them.
Families, which is amazing. And not only like the kiddo, but there's things for mom and dad. There's things for caretakers, which is super cool.
It really, truly is amazing. We met a little more than a year ago when I emceed the event last year. This is my second time. And you were so welcoming to bring us into your home. We did a story with you, Jackson. Remember, we played with the Legos. We had a good time. But it really, truly is remarkable to see this organization set everyone up for success, not just the kiddo, as you mentioned, but the family as well. There's so much support.
He's even picking up the word kiddo. Oh, this is so cringy.
Yeah.
Support that you didn't realize was out there when you started this journey.
Yeah, when we started the walk 6 years ago, we were just looking for other families like us and therapies and resources, and we got out to the walk in Houston at the University of Houston, and we were just like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
There's a whole world here that we had no idea about. And it, like I said, it supports not only
Huge fundraising opportunity that they had never tapped into. And these walks are a big deal now. A huge fundraising thing for Autism Speaks. It's a big one. It's a big one.
the kiddo for his entire life, but the families, which is really cool.
Talk to us about the early days of your journey when you initially got that diagnosis and the emotions you were feeling and that isolation that you often talk about.
Here we go. Here we go. Now, he's picked up on this word isolation that says that you talk about, so he's done some kind of research or whatever, looked at their website, and see, they're talking about the isolation, how horrible autism is as a parent.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's difficult.
This is going to be how awful autism is as a parent.
You're kind of prepared, you know, because there's testing and you're not meeting milestones and things are happening. But then when you actually hear the words like, okay, well, we're doing a diagnosis, your son has autism, it's just like, okay, what now? So one of the big things for us that actually got us involved with Autism Speaks.
Okay, what are we having for dinner? That was kind of like the whole response that my wife had. I can't remember. I told her, she asked me if I told her I had gotten the diagnosis, and she said, so what'd they say? It was like, well, they said I wouldn't be surprised I was autistic, but I got the bonus ADHD. And my wife is like, okay, well, we need to stop by Walmart and pick up some medicine. And that was it. You know, and my kids and so forth. No, come on. It doesn't have to be devastating. I don't know. I just, the way they always frame it this way. And notice it's mom's the victim here.
Was one of their free toolkits. Our neurologist gave us the 100-day toolkit, and it helps a family navigate that first 100 days. Like, it's okay. You have support. There are resources out there. You're going to make it through this. Like, it's going to be good.
And it's been.
She's way overplaying like a piece of paper that says, go to your neurologist.
It's such a beautiful journey.
Yes.
It's been amazing to see how much he's grown in the 1 year I've known you guys. Yes.
He's huge.
What is your favorite part, Jackson, about Autism Speaks?
Well, during the walk, when I get to see all the tents and all the stuff.
The service providers and vendors bring like
Yes.
activities and games.
There are
and
so
giveaways.
many activities and
so
events.
He likes to go and visit and see what's new every year, like what the different sponsors and service providers are bringing out.
Is registration still open for people interested?
Yep. So you can show up morning of. You can, if you're registered but you want to add people to your team, we'll get you.
Truly.
Now, so the reason I'm showing this is, see how easy it is. How when you're watching this, and how there's nothing to indicate anything wrong is going on here. Here we have the local
Really making a difference.
station endorsing this, and I don't know what this could be, ABC, NBC, whatever. There's Channel 2 for these people or whatever. So we have local media basically endorsing this. By having this story here. So what looks wrong here? Nothing.
How's the Star Wars world these days? It was Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you get this year for your birthday?
I got the Millennium Falcon.
Oh my goodness. I know last year when we stopped by, we were overwhelmed with Legos and Star Wars. And cats too, right? Kittens.
Yep.
I have never talked to kids like this dude's talking to kids. I would be so freaking embarrassed to talk to kids like the way he's talking to this kid.
You know, I just heard a kitten come into the studio. Do you see him over there?
Yes.
Look at, I believe that's Mark, right? We're going to be meeting Mark in just a few moments. But remember, the walk tomorrow, tomorrow morning.
Scary, scary, scary. This is interesting. Life on the Spectrum. Autism Speaks Canada aims to share authentic stories of autistic people throughout the spectrum across the lifespan. The stories shared are their own experiences, views, perspectives, information provided. I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything. Oh, I didn't know there was an Autism Speaks Canada. The Canadian branch, huh? That's interesting. So when you give these kind of things like this, if they were just called up and said, "Can you tell us your story?" and these people do, no matter what these people say, it's going to look like an endorsement of Autism Speaks. Even if these people do not and are not endorsing Autism Speaks. And now I'm very curious as to how, if they're going to have the ABA crowd in here, or if they're just going to have autistic people talking. I'm kind of curious here.
Carter and Justine, Peoples and the Homeland and the Main Life on the Spectrum. Hi, I am James, a proud autistic Canadian. Along with everyone at Autism Speaks Canada, I'm happy to present the third episode of Life on the Spectrum, where we share lived experiences of autistic Canadians and their families to increase understanding and acceptance. First, I would like to acknowledge the land. I'm on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional territory of Cree people.
Okay, that's Canadian stuff. I'm not going to mess with that, because I don't know that they're even affiliated. Okay, this is
going to get this rolling. So just go ahead.
Okay, this is California Department of Food and Agriculture Autism Speaks presentation. I don't know anything about this.
Hit okay that you're okay with being, that this is being recorded and you're participating. Well,
so I don't know who Tracy McDonald and Justin Hopper are. I don't know who any of these people are. I'm just going to
welcome everybody to CDFA's first ever Autism Acceptance Month event. It's really
okay. So he's already said autism acceptance, which is interesting, because I wouldn't expect that from Autism Speaks. Now they've got Autism Speaks already, their logo up here. This is not the Autism Speaks channel. Interestingly, the comments are turned off, which is weird.
Really exciting for us to be here and have the speakers that we do. I am Justin Hopper. I'm the Chief of Civil Rights for CDFA. I'm also the chair for our Disability Advisory Committee for this year. And then with me, I have Madison McMahon. She's also with the Office of Civil Rights, and she is our secretary / treasurer
and he's going to be giving
for the
presentation
people here today. And we do have folks from other departments. And so thank you so much for joining us today. It's so great to have you here to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month along.
This is what really sucks about the American government and so forth. Here these government workers want to do an autism presentation. They go to Autism Speaks. They get this presentation. And now all these different government workers are trying to educate their people. And so they're going to give this presentation. Zero autistic involvement. None whatsoever. So yeah, that's a real problem.
Thank you everyone for joining today.
I'm really skipping through a lot of this because this is going to be people talking about how wonderful they are and these long introductions that neurotypicals do, and I'm not dealing with that crap.
And speech and nonverbal communication. Some people on the spectrum are nonverbal completely, and a little bit further, but I hope that shared a little bit with you on some insight. So what is autism?
Okay,
autism is a neurodiverse category
of the presentation. here. So presentation today. So please hold your questions toward the end. But if you have a burning question you have to know, please feel free to put it in the chat, and we will address it when we have our Q&A session. With that, it's my pleasure to welcome our speakers from Autism Speaks. We have Tracy McDonald. And
okay, this is Tracy McDonald from Autism Speaks, Senior Area Executive Director. What? I thought this was of Autism Speaks. I don't know who she is. See if there's a... Whoa, okay, I see a LinkedIn. Okay, Tracy McDonald's Executive Director, Autism Speaks. So when was this? So she was the Executive Director of Autism Speaks at some point in time. I thought I recognized her name. I don't think she is now, though, to tell you the truth. So we have a neurotypical person from Autism Speaks. They actually did get a person from Autism Speaks. So this is going to be brilliant to watch. Now this is the executive director. I don't know when this was. This says it's 11 months ago. This is going to be wonderful. Maybe she is now the executive director of Autism Speaks. Let's see if it says about us. Leadership. I don't see her name there. Tracy McDonald. So she may not be involved with Autism Speaks currently, or at least as of this being updated by Autism Speaks. Keith Wargo is the president. And I haven't seen Eileen in this list either. Eileen Lamb. And maybe she's not considered leadership. Press room, maybe? Because she's like media. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. This is going to be very interesting to watch.
Jackie Zuniga Duncan here. So that's enough of me talking it, folks. I'm going to turn it over to you.
I'm going to go off.
Perfect. Thank you, Justin, and thank you, everyone, for joining today and allowing us some time out of your day to.
And I will be commenting or whatever.
Talk about autism, World Autism Month, and Autism Speaks. So we would like to best present understanding autism through a video. I would like to give a disclaimer. If anyone has sensory issues, go ahead and turn down the volume on your computer or on your phone, whatever device you're on. This video is very loud.
And okay, the thing is I'm glad she is mentioning that because I've been talking about how the entire time most of what they have now, this is blue, but most time it's all white. And I've even seen some autistic sites that are making the same mistake. So let's let her speak.
It gives you an insight into what autism looks
like. To this Jackie, whoever she is, Duncan. I don't know who she is.
Like.
here we have a neurotypical person saying, I'm going to look at, make sure, I'm going to look, try to figure out who she is. Maybe she's not neurotypical. I do not know how to spell this name. Jacqui, and then it goes into some kind of zigs. I'm gonna have to make this bigger so I can see it. Okay. Zuniga. Let's see if that gets us closer to who this person is. Okay. Oh. Excuse me. I don't know who this lady is. Let's go back to this introduction again and see if we can
have our Q&A session.
Glean.
With that, it's my pleasure to welcome our speakers from Autism Speaks. We have Tracy McDonald and Jacqui Zuniga Duncan here. So that's enough of me talking it, folks. I'm going to turn it over to you.
I'll see if she's on the executive.
Perfect. Thank you, Justin, and thank you, everyone, for joining today.
So I am correct. We've got 2 neurotypical people from Autism Speaks telling us that this is what autistic people feel like.
And allowing us some time out of your day to talk about autism, World Autism Month, and Autism Speaks. So we would like...
See, we're here to tell people about Autism Speaks. We're here to tell people about autistic people. No, we're here to tell people about Autism Speaks. See how... Now, it's always subtle, but it always goes back to Autism Speaks. It's never directed towards the autistic community. And that's a big problem here.
Like to best present understanding autism through a video. I would like to give a disclaimer. If anyone has sensory issues, go ahead and turn down the volume on your computer or on your phone, whatever device you're on. This video is very loud, and it gives you an insight into what autism looks like.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm sorry, I had to stop that. I had to put a stop to that right there. Now we go to this white page, of course. Why do they use white pages?
All right. Thanks for taking a look with us into what autism can feel like for someone who is shopping. In that scenario, you heard things like plastic bags and heels clicking throughout the mall there. And it can be very overwhelming for those with autism. With that comes overstimulation, and we'll dive into that a little bit further. But
Okay, she used the term with autism there. People with autism. Now, they are going to always say people with autism. They're always going to separate the people from our brains, from being an autistic. And I'm starting to stutter now. They're always going to make that separation, and it's never ever going to be identity first, as most of the autistic community prefers, and that is just saying an autistic person, or just saying an autistic. They will never ever do that, and that's what the autistic community prefers, but they never will, and very purposefully. And why is that? Just one sec. Okay, so the reason for this is they deny that they see autism as a disease, but that was the premise that this organization was found on, that it was a disease to be cured. They want to eliminate autism. Now, by definition, when you eliminate a particular type of a demographic, that's genocide. And this is a neurotype, a type of brain, a type of human brain that we're talking about. All right, let's go on.
I hope that shared a little bit with you on some insight. So what is autism? Autism is a neurodiverse category that features a wide spectrum of different social skills, behaviors, and speech and nonverbal communication. Some people on the spectrum are nonverbal completely, and sometimes they can help communicate through iPads. And some people with autism are pretty high functioning and can hold jobs and conversations, and sometimes you.
Okay, so she's already said high functioning. Excuse me. Which is another term that the autistic community does not like using. Functioning labels. Yeah, functioning labels right off the bat. And she's using this term of
you would never
people
know.
with autism. And so you can really tell that this is not, these people don't know people in the autistic community. They're not involved with people in the autistic community.
And I think that's the most important thing, that it's an invisible diagnosis, and it is not something that might be more forward facing, like if you were in a wheelchair or some other physical ailment. So why this is a big issue, we're concerned because of a variety, and we hope to serve everyone because of a variety of impacts that it has on families and their caretakers and individuals with autism. So parents are fortunate.
Now, did we see what just happened here? This was very, very, very smooth how they slid into this. Watch this.
Behaviors and speech and nonverbal communication, and we'll dive into that a little bit further, but I hope that can hold jobs and conversations, and sometimes you would never know. And I think that's the most important thing, that it's an invisible diagnosis, and it is not.
Okay, here it comes.
Something that might be more forward facing, like if you were in a wheelchair or some other physical ailment.
Okay, here it comes.
So why this is a big issue, we're concerned because of
who's we're?
A variety, and we hope to serve everyone because of a variety of impacts that it has on families and their caretakers and individuals with autism.
It always goes back to Autism Speaks. We hope people come to us, not the autistic community. She does not say that if you want the best information, you should go straight to the autistic community. She does not say that. She says go to us, Autism Speaks.
Like if you were in a wheelchair or some other physical ailment. So why this is a big issue, we're concerned because of a variety, and we hope to serve everyone because of a variety of impacts that it has on families and their caretakers and individuals with autism.
See how slick that was? That was really slick. We're the answer. And that was just so smooth. That's smooth. That was so smooth. And then now watch. Now she's just going to keep on going.
So parents are 4 times more likely to reduce their work hours. And that correlates because the average cost, additional cost, is about.
Okay, we're going into scare tactics. I did not know we still did this. Okay, this came out 11 months ago. That doesn't mean that this happened 11 months ago, but it couldn't have happened, you know, less than that.
60,000 a year throughout their childhood in order to access services that are so widely needed for those on the spectrum. You can get a couple different stats.
No, some of these things are probably factual. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that what she's not saying is how this is framed. Is this for autistic people, or is this for? This is being framed for and about the parents. This isn't about autistic people. This doesn't have anything to do with autistic people. This is the impact of autism on the parents. Listen.
Stats here, but as we know, there's a whole family tree, right? The parents are involved, grandparents.
Okay, Spider, I didn't see what you said, but yeah, exactly. Why is it the parents? And I've been going through this website for days now, and it's all about the parents. It's all there's a little teeny tiny bit if you dig deep. That is kind of geared towards autistic people, and it is, but most of it, the tone is not advocacy of autistic people for autistic people kind of thing.
Uncles, teachers, doctors.
But look at if you don't know, if you're not really looking at this and you don't recognize what's going on, this all sounds great. This is how religion works. This is why I am so good at pointing this out and seeing this course we're autistic, and obviously it's not just me. But from coming from a fundamentalist background, from helping people get out of cults and so forth, I can see these subtle ways in which you are brought in, particularly as a parent. Now, when you're listening to this expert here, who the hell are you to refute them? This is an expert from Autism Speaks, and you're just some random parent. See how it's so easy to become shamed into like supporting these types of organizations? What, you're not going to help that organization that helps autistic people? And that's why we have to take control of this narrative and let people know what is actually going on with Autism Speaks. And so now here's this representative from Autism Speaks. Let's hear how smooth she is, and she's good.
Everyone that you interact with can learn and improve there. We also just heard from the CDC that our prevalency rate is 1 in 36 children. And that.
Okay, what is this called in speech? Where you cite Professor so-and-so, in other words, in order to qualify yourself? You're deferring to an authority. What is it? You cite an authority by citing them, you're actually trying to qualify yourself as an expert. And they do this a lot. Now they're going to the CDC here, and what they're saying here is true. Don't get me wrong, it's true. And I want to give them that credit.
That is down from 1 in 44 most recently, 2 years ago. But more importantly,
Well, see, the thing is like I when I was young, I was involved in a pyramid scheme thing. My wife and I were. I mean, I kind of saw. We didn't get real deep into it, but I was very curious about it. It was called Equinox, and it was like a Shackley. They did healthcare vitamin type stuff. And having come out of the fundamentalist cult, I didn't really see it in that perspective, but I saw what was going on and so forth. And they were actually teaching us about sales. And I saw how they were using the sales techniques that they were teaching us on how to brainwash people to get us to buy our products, how they were using the same brainwashing techniques on us. Because I was going and buying the books and so forth that a lot of their psychology was based upon. And looking at what where the psychiatry was and so forth. And I recognized, probably being autistic, that they were using those same techniques on me to brainwash me as part of their cult pyramid scheme organization. I mean, they were actually teaching us. So maybe that's part of grooming. Actually, it was kind of grooming, is what it was. And that's why those pyramid scheme organizations are cults by the BITE model of authoritarian control. And that's why you can get organizations like this, and I am not the only person. That's why I'm going on the internet here to show that it's just not me. Now here I'm just critiquing this deal right here. Hey, Pink.
20 years ago.
This is fun. This lady is from Autism Speaks, and she's giving a Autism Speaks presentation to some government workers here. This is the California Department of Food and Agriculture. So the only autistic representation we have is this lady and another lady from Autism Speaks. Here she's giving her presentation. This is to an actual government organization. California, what is it? Department of Food and Health and Agriculture. So this is kind of like a training film. This is a training that's going on here that we're watching.
This was 1 in 2,500. So we know that this is trending down. We also know that this number was, the data was collected during COVID and through our school systems. And through our school systems during COVID weren't as easily accessible as they normally are. Pardon me. So we anticipate that this number is going to trend down even more in future years. So how should you interact?
She just said nothing.
A person with autism, just like you would interact with a young child, get down to their level, be supportive.
Okay, so here a holistic person is speaking as an authority to government workers because she's from a organization called Autism Speaks. She cited the CDC that's backing her up. Now she's giving the class and giving her knowledge about autistic people. And maybe all the stuff that she says is going to be correct, but I just want to frame this whole thing here.
And always address the person directly. A lot of times it's a kind of inherent nature to talk to.
Fuck you. Oh, hell no. Always address the person directly? Oh, hell no. No, 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 no. No. A lot of times you have PDA autistics or whatever, and if you are getting in an autistic's face, it's like getting in a wolf's face, right? Like this. You just don't do it. Or a dog that you don't know. You let them, any animal, basically come to you on their terms, at their level. No. No, 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 no. I'm sorry, and this may work for some autistic people. Maybe she's right. Okay, but no, 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 no. Not for me, not for my kids, not for my mother, not for people that I know.
Act with a young child, get down to their level, be supportive, and always address the person.
So maybe she's talking about physically. Yeah, but like when you do that, you're like sitting on the floor, not bending down, stooping down over them, and so forth. You got to get down on that floor, and so forth.
Person directly. A lot of times it's a kind of inherent nature to talk to the parents or a caretaker that's surrounding them, but we really encourage talking to the person with autism. They often have a lot to say, even if it's not words.
I said almost as an afterthought, but the priority is to talk to the adults, and actually that's probably, from a caretaker's point of view, that might be correct. Maybe. What is going on here?
And Tracy, I will turn it over to you for Is It Autism?
Great, thank you so much. Hi, my name is Tracy McDonald. I'm the Executive Director for Autism Speaks for California and the
Okay, so she's the Executive Director of Autism Speaks for California something.
West Coast. Most importantly, I'm the mom of a 25-year-old son with profound autism. So I feel like I've been doing this for
profound autism. With profound autism, I don't know anyone in the autistic community, the actually autistic community, that uses that term. I don't know one. Even the people who hate me that are so ABA that are autistic don't use that term. That is such an ableist term. What it is, they're trying to. Okay, you know how they hate Asperger's because they're saying it's the Asperger's supremacy thing or whatever. Well, now these people are saying, well, these people are really freaking autistic. And I think what they're trying to do is what they're conflating is intellectual disabilities, ID, with autism, which has happened throughout the ages. The problem with that is you can have people that have intellectual disabilities, ID, that are not autistic, and you can that are autistic. Now, the truth is about a third of autistic people also are ID, have intellectual disabilities. Okay, so it is definitely more often. But one does not cause the other, and they are not married to each other. There's a commonality there. Something's going on. We definitely know that. And I'm not here to deny that. But what they're trying to do is categorize a certain group of autistics as profoundly autistic, which to me is demeaning. That's the entire reason that the community likes using the blanket term ASD. It's a spectrum, so that we are not marginalizing people. That's what eugenics did. That's exactly what Hans Asperger's did. That was his job. Was saying, whoa, these people are so autistic that they cannot be productive, so therefore they need to be just go off, and I'll take care of the ones that we can help here. That was kind of what he was doing. That was his job. Okay, so those who would be deemed with profound autism would have been unlifed. And those with Asperger's or whatever would have been spared. Why? Because humans in general in this world, our value is based upon productivity. How much can you produce? And your value is in that determination a lot of times comes with money and so forth, sometimes power or whatever else. But that's what falls under that blanket of productivity. So if you are considered to be really autistic or real profoundly autistic, when it comes to eugenics, like what they're trying to do with trans people, if they ever go after autistic people, the people that you have deemed profoundly autistic will be the first to be euthanized or sterilized. We have already seen this in history. I am a historian, amateur historian. That's been my special interest, really, history, primarily Christian history and so forth. But you see this throughout history. It is, I should so totally just drop the R word here. But it's those people that are set aside, I'm going to say it, the retards that we want to get rid of. And those are the people that died. See how I just said those are the people with profound autism? I even fell into it right there. I just fell into it myself, and I'm complaining about it. I should be ashamed of myself. But it's that easy. So we don't want this separation, and we don't this profound autism, no. And so this is coming from a lady from Autism Speaks. This is where this whole thing's coming from. This is where, let's go back. This is these ladies from Autism Speaks.
To you for Is It Autism?
Great, thank you so much. Hi, my name is Tracy McDonald. I'm the Executive Director for Autism Speaks for California and the West Coast. Most importantly, I'm the mom of a 25-year-old son with profound autism. So I feel like I've been doing this for quite a while, but I am an expert in Griffin's autism. I am not an expert in everyone's autism.
Okay, so she is saying she is an expert in her son's autism, but she is also a representative of Autism Speaks. So, and she used the CDC to qualify her position on this stuff. See how now she's qualified herself as an expert. I'm just a dumb old autistic.
Because it is very different for each person. So I thought there might be some concerns on whether or not, how do you start to look for autism? Next slide.
I said that word and I just got flagged.
So I thought I'd talk about, in hindsight's lovely. But
hopefully it won't be a Chinese person and they'll realize what I was saying.
What were some of the red flags, and what are things that really, if you have concerns, that you should pay attention to? I think one of the stories I always remember is that my mom babysat Griffin, and she's like, he just doesn't seem interested in me. I'm like, Mom, he's a baby. Like, come on. Like, but there was actually some truth to that, in that he wasn't really able to pay attention, look at what she was doing, point to her, or babble, or, kind of have any sort of.
Whoa. What is going on here? If you have a concern about how your child is communicating, interacting, or behaving, so we're going straight to this behavior thing. Here are red flags. They are calling autistic traits red flags. This is how autistic traits are being characterized by this woman at Autism Speaks as red flags. That's what they think about autistic people. That's what they think about autism. I am not saying this. This is this woman from Autism Speaks, Tracy McDonald's. Let's see what these red flags are.
Interactions. So that was a bit of a red flag. I think the other red flag that is very common before you get an autism diagnosis is you think, I don't know if my child hears me, because they don't seem to turn their head like when I call their name. That is another big red flag. There is a list.
Okay. She isn't saying indications here that your child might be autistic. She's using the term red flags as danger, something horrible. You see this? This is from Autism Speaks. See how this is being characterized. May suggest a risk for a developmental delay or possible Okay.
On the bottom here, and we will send this presentation out, of all the developmental milestones that everyone should have as they are developing as a child. And it's never a slam dunk. I will say, when I started working at Autism Speaks, I asked,
is this getting really garbled for you guys to hear? Because it is for me. And it's so garbled that I don't know if we want to go on. But yeah, this is crazy. What's going on here? This is actually Autism Speaks itself. Okay, so here are 4 things that you can do right now if you have a concern. Don't wait, be prepared. Okay, it's always going to come back to Autism Speaks, no matter what. I can tell you that. I'm not even gone through this yet. Take the MChat. They have a reference to this MChat somewhere that goes to Autism Speaks. Start the intervention process right away. There are activities you can do at home. Contact the Autism Speaks Autism Response Team. And I went over this. Autism Response Team is nothing. It's funny. It's like a horrible Google. And I've gone through that how it's a horrible Google, so that they can just say that we give references. All you have to do is they have it's a search engine, but it's really bad. And so that way they can say we help direct autistic people to services. We help. And that's all they have to do is have that website up, and they can say they do that.
Best advice is don't wait. I know when Griffin was diagnosed,
I'm going to move on a little
they
bit
were
because
born.
it sounds like shit.
Mandy?
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to put my phone on. Hi. So I'm having video problems. My computer wouldn't log in, so I'm on my phone and somebody's going to run my presentation for me. Just wanted to say hello. I'm going to turn my video off. So you can go ahead and start the, start the PowerPoint. So I'm Mandy Murray, and as mentioned, I am in the animal health branch. I'm currently the acting branch chief. And as Tracy said, more importantly, I'm Sarah's mom. So do you want to go ahead and hit play on the presentation there? We're seeing the slide sort of view.
I don't know if she's probably active branch chief of Autism Speaks.
Present buttons in the upper right corner.
Oh, this is so horrible.
She can tell
I am not going to sit here and go through this.
She also communicates in so many other ways, in her body language, through her behavior, through her looks and her eyes. Oh yeah, she does make eye contact, and she can convey a million things to you through those eyes. If only you really stop and look. I experienced.
The thing is
to developed a very unusual speech pattern where she.
I can do it if you want.
Or as I say,
there you go. Perfect.
If this isn't good,
yeah, this is what it's like when you have autism. You just learn to be flexible and go with the flow.
Exactly. This is horrible.
I'm going to share something with you that she told me the other day that just.
This is horrible.
Fully once. Boundaries or give her consequences. I know how hard they can be for me, for Sarah's brother, and our family.
Okay, here's a bullet point. Maybe we'll get
with your daughter here. And sometimes what's so hard when you get a diagnosis is you don't know where to go. Like you don't know what your options are. You don't know where to find resources.
Okay, so they're talking about finding resources no matter what is going to be go to Autism Speaks. And this is what I was making fun of. All you have to have is, your response is, see the website. No matter what the inquiry is, see the website. And because it has resources. It does not matter whether they got anywhere or not. You can say you directed autistic people and help them find resources. So that's, if you don't want to do anything at all and you're that kind of organization, but you want to take credit for something, that's exactly what you do, what they're doing here.
So I just wanted to quickly go through some of the resources that we have available for people.
See, we're the answer, not the autistic community. It is never, ever, ever the autistic community. It is always Autism Speaks is the answer. Always. I'm going to go back just a little bit.
So I just wanted to quickly go through some of the resources that we have available for people. Because what we find is that people are looking for three things: community and belonging, guidance and information, and then resources and services. But we know that these...
Okay. This is interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So they have identified. So this cult is telling us they have identified the weaknesses in people. This is what this is talking about. This is the areas that need help, or where they feel that people want reaching out or whatever else. So this is the areas, this is where they want to be the answer. Now, this works with religion, too, and everything else. It isn't just, I'm not just picking on this, but any kind of cult, any kind of organization like that, any kind of business, that's what you want to do. You want to find out what your niche is, what the people need, and you want to provide that. And so she's just being very, very clear about that. Also, while we are here, now, this is one of the rare times where they don't have a completely white screen. But what is this page oriented towards? Who? What is this page? Who is this page directed towards? We hear from thousands of caregivers. This is not about autistic people. This is about the caregivers now. They are the subject here. Community and belonging, clear guidance and information, helpful resources or services. See how weird that is?
Guidance and information, and then resources and services. but we know that these will look very different at every age. So when your loved one is a young child, you're looking for early intervention, diagnostic and evaluations.
See, they know exactly how this works and where you're going and where to be and where to be the answer, where to get promotion, where to put out the bait. That's what she's describing. All the places that you need to fish for parents.
Different at every age.
They will look at. They know every sources that they will look at every age.
When your loved one is a young child, you're looking for early intervention, diagnostic and evaluations.
So if they can work their way into these and have their name, Autism Speaks, or have the providers or whatever say that Autism Speaks is a good reference, now here comes the dough. And these, a lot of times, are young parents or whatever that have no idea what the hell's going on. No idea what's going on. They just want to help their kids. And so this is how you kind of get sucked into the cult. This is how every cult works. They provide those answers in the times of despair, whatever, and that's why they try to frame it like, oh my goodness, it's this horrible thing, because they want to get those damaged, bruised people or whatever. They want to be the answer. Because when they are the answer, then they get paid.
Skill building. When you're in school, you need things like IEP support, parent groups, recreation, health and healthcare. When you're at the transition age,
and what I wonder, are they not in every one of those? Is Autism Speaks not in everywhere somehow? Like, even if there's not brochures
that
at hospitals and so
people
forth?
are looking for three things: community and belonging, guidance and information, and then resources and services. But we know that these will look very different at every age. So when your loved one is a young
We're
child,
talking about the science of, kind of like talking about the science of manipulation here.
you're looking for early intervention, diagnostic and evaluations, skill building. When you're in school, you need things like IEP support, parent groups, recreation, health and healthcare. When you're at the transition age, like 15 to 20, you really want to look at independent living skills, future planning, things like that. And then, of course, as people become adults, things like education, employment, relationships, housing, and transportation.
They are going down the list. They know every single place where they can earn money. Literally is what she's saying. Now, she's talking about where autistic needs are, and so they're identifying those so that they can say where the answer, so that they can get money, and they can be at the right places at the right time to have the potential to get money. So if it's a hospital, no, maybe that they're not directly involved or whatever, but maybe they can get brochures put in the lobbies of hospitals. Can't think anything like that to try to get themselves qualified as the expert.
So we know that everyone has very different needs at these different ages. So we wanted to provide the right information for people where they are. Next slide. On our website for Autism Speaks, we have something called My Autism Guide. And what's great about this is
now this is great because I have been talking about this for a couple of days. Now I get to see their explanation right here of what this is.
Put in your loved one's information, like I would put Griffin 25, high needs, nonverbal. And what it does is it curates all the information that we have on the website that would be important to me, or information that I might need for Griffin. Because early intervention, like, we're way past that phase. So I don't really.
And I just go on there and play around with that. It's useless. It doesn't really go anywhere. And sometimes there are some articles or whatever that are third-party things that they don't really give credit or whatever, but they're from third-party resources that they're not crediting. So and it's not even really their page. It's like their page, another page on their page. So it kind of looks like it's them, but it's not. And you can also tell the difference in the writing and so forth, because like some of those articles will use phrase things in certain ways that Autism Speaks will not. Like Autism Speaks is always with autism. Always speaks of autism as a disease. It people with autism. It's always like they got something. But on those other ones, you'll see that it's different. So it really isn't anything that Google couldn't do for you. In fact, Google can do for you a million times better than what this resource guide does for you. I say go see for yourself. I had a hell of a time trying to navigate it.
I need articles about that. I need articles about adulthood and autism. But if you've just gotten diagnosed, adulthood is really far away and you really don't want to be thinking about that. You're thinking about where can I get services? What can I do? So the My Autism Guide, completely free, has all our resources. We also have a resource guide.
So this is a resource guide she's talking about here that goes nowhere and does nothing. And I challenge anyone, go to the resource guide and you'll see every once in a while there will be an article or something that you can click on. But in some of the pages I actually found in the fine print, and because I was like, this has got to be third party. Autism Speaks doesn't speak like this, and that's exactly what it was. It was like third party articles. They have some of those, and then a very horrible like early 90s search engine kind of thing. And that's their resource guide. That's this thing that she's bragging about right now.
You can put in your address and it will show you all the different categories of all the service providers. I think there's like 54 different topics, whether it's advocacy, education, things like that. I know we moved a couple years ago and I used that just to find local service providers and it was great. We also offer what we call toolkits.
Okay, sure, but you could have used Google and done a lot better probably. 54 topics, yeah. I mean, I've gone on that site, but I just want to see somebody else have someone else and get their opinion about how do you feel as an autistic person going on that resource guide that you found anything that helped or that you would have been better off Googling it? That's what I want to know.
And these are all downloadable, completely free on our website that just talk about specific issues, whether it's behavior.
Okay, they do have some original stuff, and you can tell by the way it's written in PDF format, and that's what she's talking about.
Challenges, health and wellness. I know Griffin does not sleep, so I love the sleep study one they have. They also have the PICA guide. There's just how to get a blood test done. There's so much information.
Behavioral challenges, interesting.
I also really like the haircutting one. Griffin had a really hard time getting it. Next slide. And then we know for like at school age, you're going to need information about IEPs.
Okay, see, this is what this is what they're saying. This is what's really strange. If you're a cult and you want to find out where people are most vulnerable or where you can be the need, actually, even if you are a good organization in good faith, you want to identify where that need is and provide that need. And she is very specifically saying, and this is the things that Autism Speaks have identified. So it's a very, very scientific process of becoming the source of putting oneself in a position that you are seen as the authority on autism or whatever it is, so that when people think of autism, they think of Autism Speaks, bam, you get the money, you get the donations. And they've done an excellent job of it. Excellent.
Because unfortunately, the way things are set up is the school district has their budgets and what they can afford, but they're not going to give you, here's everything you're entitled to. So you really want to make sure that you are as informed as possible when you go in and put all the needs of your child in your IEP, and how do you really advocate for that? What are my options? Things like that. We also have a school
I really don't know diddly squat about IEPs.
community toolkit, which is great. So if for some reason your teacher has never had someone with autism in their class, this is a great tool to kind of help explain it to them as well.
And I looked at some of these. I think I did look at the community toolkit, and it was nothing that it wasn't like nothing that you wouldn't say about neurotypical kids or autistic kids. It was just common sense stuff. So I was really trying to point out, okay, what's exceptional about this? What's different because autistic or I'm whatever. Nothing.
Next slide, transition to adulthood. This is really, I'll be honest, I completely missed this for Griffin. We moved to Canada and I completely missed the transition age. So transition to adulthood can take many, many years if you like. But we have some great tools.
Maybe she was separated from her son when she moved to Canada.
Kits and roadmaps that really help identify what are some of the life skills that they need to either live on their own or perhaps live in a group home, or what exactly is that situation going to look like?
Okay. Now this is getting a little bit boring, but once again, we're into this presentation pretty deep. Where have we ever talked about the autistic person's perspective? Where have we asked for the autistic person's opinion? Where have we referenced the autistic person? Where have we said, the best thing to do is to go to the autistic community and find resources through them. You can find them locally, whatever you need through the autistic community itself, because you have people that are autistic, had autistic parents, autistic kids, whatever. But the answer is always Autism Speaks. See how it looks good and you can just get sucked right into that.
Look like, because you're an adult with autism much longer than you're a child with autism. And for us, Griffin's my only child. So what happens when I'm gone? How do I make him as independent as possible? He lives with us and we foresee him living with us for the rest of our lives. But, at some point.
How do I make him? Okay, I understand what she's trying to say. She wants to prepare him, but if you try to make him anything, if he's PDA, you're barking up the wrong tree there, lady. Hopefully he's not. If that's how you see it, no, you have to help him help himself, and realize that that's what you're trying to do, and you have to, particularly if they're PDA.
I'm not going to.
And I think that's maybe what she intends here, but that's not what she's saying. And like I said, everything about this is in nuance. That's the difference in why this is a cult. Because it's always walking that line. Always there. Always walking that line. Of, oh, no, we don't think that it's an illness, yet they always refer to as a person with autism as if it's a illness.
Be able to physically do things, and I'm going to need for him to have certain life skills. And how do I work on them? Next page.
The one thing that I got to say about all these slides is I love this blue background. I've been whining and complaining and moaning about everything being white, and this is not hard to look at.
We also know that as people receive interventions and develop.
So they're going to start talking about here about you should go to the autistic community. That's the best place to learn anything, right? Like, yeah, you're full of shit.
A
yeah,
lot
I am
of
full
people
of shit.
are able.
That they are not going to do that anywhere. They may not even mention autistic people in that respect at all.
To advocate for themselves. They're able to speak up for themselves and say, hey, this is what I want. I don't want my mom or dad deciding this. This is what I need. So we have a lot of.
Oh, wait, maybe she's proving me wrong right here.
When I'm gone, how do I make him as independent as possible? He lives with us, and we foresee him living with us for the rest of our lives. But, you know, at some point, I'm not going to be able to physically do things, and I'm going to need for him to have certain life skills. And how do I work on that? Next.
See, how do I work on his life skills? You don't. He has to work on them. Now, you can do everything in the world that you can do to help them. This comes down to, teach cook a person to fish, or give a person a fish, feed them once, or teach them to fish, feed them for life kind of thing. You still have to do that with autistic people. You do not ignore them or deny them life experiences ever. And there are times where if they need to withdraw from life experiences, and they need to, but the thing is they need to have those opportunities. We're human beings. We need to live.
We also know that as people receive interventions and develop, a lot of people are able to advocate for
receive interventions. What is she talking about?
Themselves. They're able to speak up for themselves and say,
a lot of people are there to speak up for themselves. See, this is like third person. I don't know.
Hey, this is what I want. I don't want my mom or dad deciding this. This is what I need. So we have a lot of social skills groups. There's a magazine, online meetings, social media, where communities can really come together and meet other individuals that have
always goes back to Autism Speaks.
Very similar experiences, which I think we all can benefit from. I don't know, Justin, if you want me to go into the employment piece, because I feel like we were running a little bit long.
Yeah, we can touch on it real quick. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. I'll use my New Yorker voice and go super fast. So we'll talk about employment, because what we know is that there is a huge crisis when people are on the spectrum as adults, that 50 to 75% of individuals are either unemployed or underemployed.
Now here I'm actually very surprised that they're even addressing this, and I will say kudos thus far.
And that is a huge issue. So many have so much to give, but they just don't fit in well in a typical work environment. Next, can you do 2 slides forward?
See, so many have so much to give. Would she say that about an autistic kid? There's so many autistic kids that have so much to give. Is it just me here? Is that not ableist as hell?
So we'll talk about employment, because what we know is that there is a huge crisis when people are on the spectrum as adults, that 50 to 75% of individuals are either unemployed or underemployed.
Like, right.
And that is
it's just so weird, and that it's so easy. It just slips
meetings, social media, where communities can really come together and meet other individuals that have very similar experiences, which I think we all can benefit from. I don't know, Justin, if you want me to go into the employment piece, because I feel like we were running.
Okay, yeah. So here she's going to say it again.
Yeah, we can touch on it real quick. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. I'll use my New Yorker voice and go super fast.
And it's amazing just how smooth it is, how easy it is to almost miss.
We'll talk about employment, because what we know is that there is a huge crisis when people are on the spectrum as adults, that 50 to 75% of individuals are either.
It's okay. One thing that's kind of interesting here is she switched to spectrum. This is Autism Speaks, which I don't know. So she's using the term autism and spectrum interchangeably as Autism Speaks, because this isn't AUDHD or whatever speaks. This is Autism Speaks. I don't know. That's just a little weird to me. Just point that
unemployed or underemployed. And that is a huge issue. So many have so much to give, but they just don't.
Stop right there. Okay, I say all the time that our value is based on our productivity. I've said this over and over and over, and look what she
Go
says
super
here.
fast. So we'll talk
This
about
is nuts.
employment, because what we know is that there is a huge crisis when people are on the spectrum as adults, that 50 to 75% of individuals are either unemployed or underemployed. And that is
right there.
I'll use my New Yorker voice and go super fast. So we'll talk about employment, because what we know is that there is a huge crisis when people are on the spectrum as adults.
Now,
That
this is
50 to 75% of individuals are either unemployed or underemployed. And that is a huge issue.
That's a huge issue because autistic people are not productive as allistic people. That's ableist as hell right there. Why is it a huge issue? I mean, why does why does it matter to her as an advocate for an autistic person? And I don't see anything wrong with working. I worked most of my life from the time I was like, 16? I was in the military at 17. And didn't stop working until I was, 50? I don't have a problem with working or employment, but this is how she is valuing this person's life. This is productivity, and this is a lady from Autism Speaks. So she's saying that autistic people being unemployed, therefore, is a huge issue.
So many have so much to give, but they just don't fit in well in.
So many allistic kids have so much to give, but they just don't fit in well. Would you say that? So many allistic people have so much to give, but they just don't fit in well.
A typical work environment.
In a typical.
Next, can you do 2 slides forward? And this is, well, there we go. What we learned is that, like anyone, individuals with autism have challenges, but they
individuals with autism, like I said, I've not seen them make a mistake once with this. They will not say autistics. They will not say autistic people. It's always people or individuals inflicted with autism, individuals with that disease, autism, individuals that got that autism. They always try to separate it. When you cannot separate, if you separate this brain from this body, you no longer have me. I'm no longer there. And that works for everybody. If you change my brain and make it something different, then you have a different person.
Have some really great skills. Repetition is great.
But they have really great skills too. Oh my. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Listen to this. This almost reminds me of when you hear the back in the slave times or whatever, where they're trying to sell their slaves or whatever, and they're trying to say their traits. That this one's been a good hard worker.
And this is, well, there we go. What we learned is that, like anyone,
and I'm not comparing that to this. I'm just saying, if you listen to this,
individuals with autism have.
That's kind of how they're treating people, as if they're a thing.
Challenges, but they also have some really great skills.
They have some challenges, but they got some. It's got some. It's an older model, but it's got a lot of good skills there.
Repetition is great. They
sometimes good at repetition.
Sometimes can think outside the box of something.
Sometimes they can think on their own.
Thing that you never would have thought of. Committed.
You never would have known they are artistic.
Consistent, very task oriented. I always say, Griffin's kind of the ideal employee because he's never going to talk.
That's the ideal worker right there, the ideal slave. Okay, it might. This just sounds so creepy, the way they're putting it. Would autistic people be putting it this way? I don't. Ooh. This just creeps me out. No, and I understand that yes, we do have some awesome traits and things like that, and things that employers need to know that are valuable assets, our commitment to work and so forth. But just the way it's framed here is so creepy to me.
He's never going to lie and say, "Oh, sorry, I missed my bus." Like, he's just not able to do that. So I think that
Autistic people are able to lie.
there's lots of.
It can be freaking hard a lot of times in a lot of contexts, but we can still lie.
Skills that individuals bring. And I think what employers are starting to learn is that you can make some pretty simple modifications to help individuals on the spectrum within the workplace. As tough as COVID has been, it has actually been a blessing for a lot of people who could do the jobs, but really struggled with those unwritten rules of the workplace. So being able to work from home has actually helped their performance. And people have learned that you don't necessarily all have to sit in the same area. You know, if the fluorescent lights are bothering someone, like there's a lot of little tweaks that people can make to really help appreciate all of the neurodiversity that comes in. Next slide.
And that's all legit stuff, okay, but how is that helping me, this neurotypical person from Autism Speaks, telling me that adjusting to the work, or telling these people from California, I guess this is decent news or whatever, but it's the frame of Autism Speaks has made itself the authority. What they're saying here, I've been critiquing the entire time because it's really off. Excuse me here. It's the context here.
I think the most important point that we always want to make to everyone is that it's not about charity when you are employing someone with individual. It is really good for business. There's a huge...
The audacity. Well, at least they have token. Out of the 216 employees, I think there might be 2 employees now, but they have one for sure, one autistic person out of those 216 employees, and that is token here. Eileen Lamb, I think she's media or whatever. She's their token autistic person.
Huge ROI on this. And I just think, especially as we all talk about diversity, you know, it's more than just race and gender. It's neurodiversity as well, and how we all think and react a little bit differently.
When has she ever mentioned an autistic person? When has she ever said, you know, you really need to get involved with the autistic community, or you may find out that you have autistic people all around you? Where they don't. It's always go back to Autism Speaks. It never ever, they never refer to ever that there is an autistic community of autistic adults that have been through these things, that have raised children, that have gone through the school system, that have kids in the school system, that have been gone through toileting, that have gone through children that weren't speaking when they were young, like my son, who've gone through the dyslexia, who've gone through all these things. No. They never, ever, ever, ever mention autistic people, or that we might know a damn thing about ourselves.
Last slide. Told you I'd be really fast. If you have any questions, this is literally what we do, and we absolutely
She's closing up. She is literally closing up. This is literally what they do. She is literally closing up, and she has never mentioned the autistic community, or anything about the autistic community, or anything really about autistic people specifically, other than her advice as an expert from Autism Speaks.
Here, if you have, even if you don't
contact Autism Speaks, contact our autism, this is a BS thing.
Know what you don't know, and you don't know what to ask, you can always give us a call. I know, Mandy, I'll put you on the spot, but I'm pretty sure you would help anyone as well. You know, find another family or individual.
Okay, that's I'm sick enough from that one. We're gonna see. Okay, see, this has hashtag Autism Speaks. Normally, creators do not use that hashtag, so I'm wondering why this. I think this is an autistic
Why
creator.
is everybody on the
Yeah,
internet
it is.
so mean? Well, it's kind of one of those things where people act differently when there's no real consequences to their actions. Everyone does it. No? Oh, come on. You've never done that before? No, you don't understand.
I know she did not use that hashtag before. Now, I don't know for what reason she's using hashtag Autism Speaks, but I just think it's great because I have been asking autistic creators to use the hashtag Autism Speaks so that the algorithm goes straight to autistic creators. And this is exactly what's happened here. Watch this. I may even do hashtag Autism Speaks and see what happens. I've been encouraging this on here's my hashtag. Here's an hashtag I have Occupy Autism Speaks. Why am I not? I'm brain farting her name. Here she's coming up again. Okay, so I'm not seeing it on the hashtag there, but that's exactly how those shorts were.
I might know that something is off about me, and then after like a day or two, they're
Yeah, she is. Okay, this is okay, this is a short. But she is using that hashtag on this short here for Autism Speaks.
like, why are you so weird? I tend to think that people are my friends, even if I just know their name and nothing else about them. I'm really paranoid about calling people my friends because I don't really have a lot of good luck with them. I sometimes go nonverbal for extended periods of time. I haven't had a nonverbal episode, but I have had minimally verbal episodes. We don't really have a lot in common, but we're both still autistic, which means we do share one thing. Panic when the
So that's good. That's good. I'm glad that hashtag is doing something. I wonder. I'm just going to randomly put that hashtag up. I've never done this before. Now, I only suggested that people start using that hashtag. Well, I think it's probably been 6 months. Probably it's been a while now. Okay, so of course Autism Speaks comes up. Okay, so we've got all Autism Speaks. Here's Wikipedia, Facebook, YouTube, their YouTube channel, X, Autism Speaks, which is Twitter, Black Autism, the Color of Autism Foundation. I don't know what it is. Autism Awareness, but that's interesting that that's coming up before Autism Speaks in a lot of cases. That's great. Yeah, here's one of those ableist terms. Join us creating a world where all people with autism can reach their full potential. So right now on Google, at least the Google algorithm, it's not doing much. The hashtag, but it is evidently being used, and I think I've heard on Twitter, or not Twitter, but on TikTok, that it is bringing up autistic creators right now. So I'm going to go straight to the Autism Speaks website, hopefully. Come on. I got to get rid of that hashtag so I can go to their channel here.
We wanted help, but we just didn't.
Oh, that is so loud. Okay, so this is 2 weeks ago. This is videos, lives, no lives. I don't know
I wrote a story about a young man who.
And I have commented on that already. I haven't looked at some of this stuff that was over 4 months old. Okay, here is another misconception.
My name is Aidin Lam.
I don't know if I have seen this one or not yet.
Influencer, published author, and autistic mother of 3.
I think I may have seen it.
With 2 boys on the spectrum. You're watching Mind Your Misconceptions. Mind Your Misconceptions, the show where I will personally address common misconceptions about autism. I'm not here to convince you to support us or try to win your love, but I do think it's time to set the record straight, because misinformation is dangerous for us all, and the autistic community deserves to know the truth. Another misconception is that there are no benefits to hiring autistic.
So I'm not going to go back over that again today. And I don't know much about any of these. I'm just going to randomly click on something. Views expressed here.
Welcome to Adulting on the Spectrum. In this podcast, we want to highlight the real voices of autistic people, not just inspirational stories, but...
Okay, so I have looked at some of these now. It's interesting that the comments are turned off. Like I said, with any kind of cult, anytime the comments are turned off, you need to be concerned. That's all there is to it. I don't know why they would have this turned off or whatever, but basically these are just interviews with autistic people. So this doesn't really give us any information about the philosophy or whatever about Autism Speaks itself. But their website does, so I'm going to get rid of all this stuff and we're going to go back to Autism Speaks for a little bit. The blog. I have not looked at this blog thing. Audience 1. Oh, see, this is the ableism here. Person with autism. See how they want to always say with autism as if it's a disease. I have no idea what I'm filling out here. Oh, okay. So, okay. This is that really crappy Google that I've been making fun of. This really crappy search engine. Here, so we're going to apply all this. No results. Aw, shucks. Yeah, this is a really crappy Google, and the reason this is here is just by having this here, they can say that if any autistic has ever gone on this site, and I just have, I'm on it now, they can say they helped autistic people find resources. Now, I didn't do anything, but they tried. Because they had the site up. You know, and you can't always have all the answers, so they did their best. See how that works? Newly diagnosed. Okay, so information and support. Newly diagnosed. So this is new for newly diagnosed autistic people? No, this is going to be for parents and so forth about newly diagnosed children. Oh, and it's going to be newly diagnosed people are individuals with autism. With autism. Autism Speaks has developed a comprehensive toolkits help you and your family across the get started on this new journey. Okay, young children newly diagnosed with autism. When you've been doing this much, you just know where it's going to go, what they're going to say, Maybe I've been combing this website way too much. Maybe it's time for me to shut down for the night. I think I am because this is just crazy. It's too easy. So I got 3 hours here, and so that's going to be 25 and a half hours. I'm a quarter through um, um, my 100 hours. I've already got 25 hours of that 100 hours in. So about 75 hours to go, 74 and 3/4, whatever. So I'm going to stop streaming for the night. And yeah, no. I know all of our society's ableist as hell. And I don't think there's anything wrong with actually recognizing that either. I've been ableist in my life in many respects. I was ableist towards my mother, not knowing that I was autistic, not knowing she was autistic. I knew something was going on, but I was kind of hateful towards her, and I don't know if that was just because I was a nasty kid or if it was just a lot of the ableism and so forth that I was taught. Probably, maybe a both. But let's not talk about me. Yeah, I'm going to shut it down for the night. And I will go into that kind of stuff, though. But I am going to shut it down for the night. Thank you guys very much. This is David Page. Screw them.